Hello everybody and welcome to Camp Randall here on the campus of the University of Wisconsin in Madison, Wisconsin for WCBN sports coverage of Michigan football. I'm Austin Falco. Alongside me, Daniel and are in dire need of a quality win at this point in the season. What are your thoughts on today's matchup between a couple of teams that are very similar to each other in that sense and also just the style of play in general?
Yeah, this is going to get them Jonathan Taylor versus Karan Higdon, a great running back matchup. And we're really going to see a lot of run game. This is going to be a quick game. Might get done in under 3 hours. If Michigan really, all they need to do is restrict their run game. And I think on offense, the Wolverines, they probably want to go to the air a little bit. This Wisconsin defensive backfield really has not been tested at all so far this year.
And of course, the problem with going to the air, though, when it comes to Michigan, is they're facing a fierce Wisconsin pass rush. Their offensive line that's both not experienced and has had trouble keeping the quarterback upright so far this year. Not to mention, of course, Brandon Peters, his first road start in his Michigan career, could be a tough matchup trying to throw the ball. So we'll see just how much they did. As you said, Wisconsin, a potential weakness in their defensive. Michigan have enough time to get anything off. Meanwhile, over on the Wisconsin side of the ball, what do they need to do in order to bring home a win here? Like I said, a much-needed quality win is their schedule. Not much in the form of quality opponents at all.
Yeah, Wisconsin, Michigan could spoil their season here. Wisconsin, if they win out there and undefeated Big Ten champs, they will make the playoffs if they do so. Miami defeating Notre Dame was a big help for them. However, it's possible they will knock it in favor of a one-loss Miami potentially if Miami were to lose to Clemson in the big ACC championship game. Michigan can make things worse for Wisconsin next week. If Michigan were to knock off Ohio State, that might mean that Wisconsin will be playing a 3-loss Ohio State team in the Big Ten championship game. So Wisconsin has to win out. Stick to their plan. They haven't seen this state 2 weeks ago. Last week, Wisconsin totally
The two ferocious defenses we're set to see here at Camp Randall today. 3 degrees, bit of a wind chill here, very windy here at Camp Randall on a chilly November Saturday afternoon. Every time it's for the Wolverines. Boot hits the leather, and this one's going to go off towards the corner. Thomas thinks about feeling it as it gets just inside the end zone. Flips the corner and bounce for a touchback. So Michigan will start at their own 25. towards McEwen. There's a flag thrown as McEwen drops the pass. Looks like we're going to get a pass interference here early on against Derek Tyndall.
But I'd have to say, that looked like good pass protection from the Wolverine offensive line so far. Chris Evans picked up a good block as well. And Brandon Peters had a lot of time. He did not have to throw that ball at the time. He just found his open man.
And it will instead be a holding call there on Tyndall. But regardless, Michigan's going to move the chains yet again with another first down. And injury watch number 2, Karan Higdon into the ball game. Banged up his ankle a little bit last week at Maryland and College Park. He'll take his spot behind Brandon Peters and Henry Poggi in the backfield. Split out right. Donovan Peoples-Jones off to the left. Is Kakoa Crawford, one tight end. Tight to the formation. It looks like it's Gentry over there. Now Peters tries to pass yet again. He's looking left. He's going deep for Kakoa Crawford down the left sideline. Incomplete over Crawford's head down near the 28, Wisconsin.
And that looks like a good enough throw. I think Crawford may have lost the ball a little bit. He kind of started cutting inward when the ball was more toward the sideline. A little bit of a miscommunication there. Maybe Crawford isn't quite used to Peters at quarterback yet. But once again, Peters had time to throw, did not have to let go of the ball when he did. Could have surveyed the field more, but ultimately a decent throw. I think execution on the route run wasn't perfect.
Michigan's going to spread out here on 2nd and 10 from their own 45-yard line. Now they're going to go Wildcat as Peters splits out right where there's 2 wide receivers. There's 2 wide receivers left. Higgins in the backfield going to take the snap. First time we've seen this in the Wolverines now. Higgins takes a snap, goes up the middle. Rather, it's Chris Evans up the middle, but he is swallowed up there after a gain of 1 to the 46-yard line. It was Garrett Dooley, the outside linebacker.
And it looks like Jim Harbaugh may be scraping the bottom of the barrel here, trying to find plays that can beat this undefeated Wisconsin Badgers defense. That one not too successful. Now 3rd and long for the Wolverines.
And the crowd rises to the feet here at Camp Randos. It's a 3rd and 9 for Michigan. Right around midfield. They come out 3 wide receivers, split left, 1 to the right. It's Higgin in the backfield next to Peters in the shotgun. Wisconsin showing some pressure, only rushing 4 as Peters drops back, looks right. Trying to find the right side. He does. McEwen tries to stretch out across the Wisconsin 45 for the first. We'll see where they spot it. It looks like it will be a first down right at the sticks. Great play there by McEwen to stretch that ball out.
Great pickup on 3rd down, and 3rd time I said it now. The offensive line picked up the pass rush yet again. Wisconsin hasn't been bringing the heat too much. They've been playing a lot of coverage. But that time it worked out for the Wolverines. They were able to find their man, and he just extends the ball to pick up the first down.
So Brandon Peters completes his first pass of the game. He'll come out now. 2 tight ends, a fullback, offset to left. Higdon in the backfield. Here's a handout to Higdon running right. Behind the tight end there, Gentry was leading the way, but he gets tripped up. Gain of about 2 yards to the Wisconsin 43-yard line. Coming up to McTay.
And that's the second time now we've seen Michigan run between the tackles into this Wisconsin front line. The results so far, a 1-yard gain and a 2-yard gain. Not the production the Wolverines are looking for.
And that one's actually going to be spotted for a gain of 1. Because Higdon bounced forward after he hit the ground. Michigan will not come out. And a bit of a wishbone here. Higdon and Poggi in the backfield behind Peters. McDougall in motion. They're going to hand out to him going left. The edge. Poggi, he bounces outside, gets around the 40-yard line before he's brought out of bounds by Natural Jameson.
And Leon Jacobs was pursued right behind McDougall the entire play there. That probably didn't allow McDougall to make as many cuts as he would have liked to. But a little bit more success going to the outside once again for the Wolverines. They picked up 3rd and long last series. Let's see what they do here.
3rd and medium here coming. It's 3rd and 6. Peters dropped back in the shotgun again with Higdon. Got 3 wide receivers split to the right. Peoples-Jones, McDougall, and Perry. McEwen split off to the left. Higgins and Peters right in the shotgun. He's looking to the left for McEwen. He's interfered with a bit there, but good coverage on the play. It was Nick Nelson. Does that want to fall incomplete over the head of both guys? And Michigan looks like they're bringing the punt unit on the field here at 41.
Yeah, the offensive line slowly trots off the field. Look like they might have been thinking about going forward here. Field position is going to be crucial in this one. We'll see how this punt goes. It's not ideal conditions for a fielding.
So Nick Nelson will stand around inside his own 10-yard line and receive the punt from Brad Robbins. Brad Robbins has the wind at his back. He boosts this one high in the air. It's headed towards the end zone. Nelson runs away from it, and it goes right into the middle of the end zone. The wind really took that one. So a touchback here will have Wisconsin starting out at their own 20-yard line for their first offensive drive of the game.
Yeah, I'm sure Brad Robbins is going to be disappointed with that one. Let the wind really get a hold of it. And now that's going to give Wisconsin ball at their own 20 rather than perhaps inside their own 10.
So Michigan squanders a chance to pin Wisconsin really deep there after a bit of a lackluster offensive possession. 12:23 remaining here in the first quarter of action. No score between the Michigan Wolverines and the Wisconsin Badgers. And now we'll see another great defense coming on the field. That Michigan defense, of course, tried to feast on Alex Honeybrook, who threw 2 pick sixes last week against Iowa here at Camp Randall Stadium.
Yeah, the first team to score is going to feel really great about themselves. Points are going to be few and far between in this one, most likely. If the Badgers can light up the scoreboard quickly, that's going to really give them, their defense, a lot of momentum to play behind. Know that they have a lead that they're supporting. I think there'll be an important psychological impact for whichever team can score first. Wisconsin has a long field, though, 80 yards, and it's not going to be fun to kick in this weather. You got to imagine they've got quite some ways to go for field goal range as well.
Of course, the man to watch on that Wisconsin offense, mentioned a little bit pregame, Jonathan Taylor, freshman out of Salem, New Jersey, taking the Big Ten by storm so far this season, already 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns on the season. Absolutely tearing up the Big Ten West. He'll face a stout Michigan run defense, allowing just 110 yards per game, only just over 250 overall. That's good for third best in the country.
And the criticism for Wisconsin all year has been who have they played, who have they done everything against. So Jonathan Taylor's lit up some inferior defenses so far, but he played a good defense in Iowa last week and was still able to be pretty productive. So this will be for sure his most difficult test. And the Michigan defense is, for most anyone they play, their best test of the season. So we're going to have to see how he stands up against the Wolverine defense.
As we await the okay to come back from a TV timeout. As mentioned, Wisconsin will be taking over at their own 20-yard line. They choose to have it at the right hash. The Badgers trot out onto the field as well as the Wolverines. And one of the last couple injury watches for Michigan, both Rashawn Gary and Maurice Hurst, after exiting early yesterday, not on the field. Meanwhile, Lavert Hill was not seen in warm-ups, nor is he on the field now. It'll be Brandon Watson taking over his spot.
And I believe Lavert Hill is officially out with a concussion and will not be seeing any action whatsoever today.
So we'll see if that factors in. Wisconsin comes out in the heavies at their base formation. Taylor's in the backfield. Fullback off to his right. They send him here in motion, left to right. Honeybrook rolls out now like he's going to pass. Taylor's on a little flank route. Honeybrook's going to run with it. He takes off, and he's tackled from behind. It was Aubrey Solomon in the pursuit. And not before. Honeybrook picks up 4 yards on the rush. It'll be 2nd and 6.
And a rare scramble for Alex Honeybrook. Those don't come often for him. But he's able to do the smart thing, picks up 3 yards, doesn't risk a turnover. That's going to be 4 yards. Second to go for the Badgers.
A second and a long 6 here for the Badgers. So that's Wisconsin's style of play. Get a few yards on second and or first and second down. Make those third downs manageable. Be Taylor in the backfield alone here. Another heavy set, plenty of tight ends. They're running towards the left. Bounced off a tackle from Solomon, does Taylor, but he's swallowed up by the linebackers of Michigan. A whole host of them bringing him down, but not before he picks up 4 yards for himself. It'll be 3rd and 2 at the Wisconsin 28-yard line.
There we go. Jonathan Taylor's first carry. Good for 4 yards, and the very prototypical Wisconsin drive so far. Get those medium chunk yardage and set yourself up for not third if you have to face it.
A 1.5 actually now. Wisconsin still in their base set. 1 wide receiver split wide to the right. Lots of fullbacks in there. Left to right. They hand out to the fullback at the middle, but he is stuffed at the line. Aubrey Solomon, Maurice Hurst in there on the tackle. With a big third down there. Loss of 1 on the play. It was Austin Ramish who got the ball, the big fullback. Normally a blocker for Wisconsin.
And Don Brown has to be loving that, seeing the push he got there against this fantastic Wisconsin line. Wisconsin always knows great offensive lines. And if anything, Ramish was stuffed and lost yardage. It's still 4th and 2, but he was going nowhere on that play.
Michigan, they punt their own. Anthony Lottie back to punt at his own 15. His own 29-yard line for Michigan right now. The punt is up and away as people retreats to catch it at his own 19. Breaks the tackle, going right, now goes left. Not going to have a whole lot of room over there. He's going to try to get what he can. He gets out across the 25, to about the 27-yard line. That's where Michigan will take over for their second possession of the ball game. 10:07 remaining here in the first quarter as we head to another media timeout.
Jones returned there, not a long one, but it does give the Michigan Wolverines their best field position of the day, 27 rather than the 25 on their first drive. We'll see if those few extra yards can help get the Michigan Wolverines to maybe field goal range on this drive. But the Wolverines offense looking better than the Badger offense so far. Encouraging sight so far for the Wolverines faithful who are here in Camp Randall, the fourth oldest college football stadium in America today.
Yeah, I should mention some Wolverine faithful making the trip out here. We see some smatterings of maize and blue in the crowd, but very much a red-clad Wisconsin Badger home field advantage here at Camp Randall. With the exception of the student section, which is still filing in, somewhat notorious for filing in late here at Wisconsin. Everything is filled. It's completely red and black for the most part, aside from those spatterings of maize and blue. And that student section probably about 2/3 of the way full right now. We expect it full by at least the third quarter when we get to see the famed jump around.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone's looking forward to. This place is going to be bound when you hear jump around. We're glad that we have our NBA content. You're going to get to hear that, and it's going rowdy here in Camp Randall.
Before we get over to that, though, is, again, just over 10 minutes left remaining here in the first quarter. Austin Falco, Daniel Thompson here with WCBN Sports, bringing you coverage of Michigan football. You'll hear Jeremy Parks and Will Yang in the second half of action. And pretty much here on the first two drives, just about what we expected. The defense is holding strong on some third down stops.
And one thing that I thought was interesting is that the Michigan Wolverine offense was willing to play around Wisconsin's strong suits, trying to where they maybe have the upper hand. Only two between the tackles that entire drive.
I have to say, when it was coming to the passing specifically, Michigan using almost a lot of max protect. They sent some tight ends out wide, but for the most part, the running backs and backs were staying. They should have tried that Wisconsin pass rush, because they know that the offensive line for Michigan has really struggled with that pass rush. Specifically, the freshman Cesar Ruiz, who's getting the start at right guard today. But he is not out there for the Wolverines. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Maybe the coaches prefer Ruiz to Owenu at this point. I'm very impressed with Ruiz, at least in the run game. He's had a couple lapses in passion.
Yeah. Ruiz was healthy enough to play with the second team in Warbucks.
Michigan comes out, two tight ends to the right, one wide receiver left, but Ben Mason is actually tight end in motion. There's an I formation. Hill with Higdon behind him. Higdon gets the ball, goes right up the middle, following Hill, fighting off a tackle, fighting for more yards. He was all the way out across the 4-5-yard line. What a run there by Karan Higdon, 8 yards before being brought down by Joe Ferguson, who had a ride there for about 5 yards on Higdon's back.
Yeah, Higdon kept moving his legs and turned a 3-yard gain into a 5-yard gain. Short field now for the Wolverines, 2nd and 2 at the Badger 35.
Yeah, an 8-yard gain there for Higdon on first down. As you mentioned, 2nd and 2. Higdon stays in the ball game. Lid Hill in the backfield, offset eye to the right. One wide receiver split off to the right. McEwen is a tight end off to the right, but they're going back up the middle towards the left. Higgin powers forward. First down, looks like they're going to spot him short. That will bring up 3rd and go.
Two between the tackles from the Wolverine. It's a very between the tackle down now on 3rd and 1. We're gonna have to see what they draw up here. I'm very interested to see how much are the Wolverines willing to test the Badger front line, and we see how Owenu come to the game now.
Trying to get that in the ball. They got along with looks like Clint Ben Mason backfield. They just absolutely demolished the bad offensive line, pushed them back 5 yards. Clint rumbles forward to the 40-yard line for a Michigan first down.
That was quite possibly the heaviest offense we've seen in college football this season. All the big boys out there.
There was 7 offensive linemen and 2 fullbacks. Actually, make that 8 offensive linemen and 2 fullbacks on that play. Michigan not messing around. They needed that half yard, and they got it. So first out for Michigan at the 40-yard line. We see Kareem Walker in the ball game. His first action today. He's lined up behind Peters in the eye. 3 wide receivers on bunch formation to the right. Takes the handoff to Kareem Walker going left. Rolling out to the right is Peters. He finds the receiver on the sideline. It's Peoples-Jones who catches it and goes out of bounds for a gain of only about 3 yards.
And I think that's the earliest we've seen Kareem Walker come into a game all year. Maybe trying to get him more involved in this game.
It's only going to be a gain of about 2.5 there as Peters looked a little bit late on Peoples-Jones, looking downfield for a read, didn't see one, so he ended up going to his outlet.
Yeah, that set out there on that last play was probably about 300 pounds lighter than the previous. Michigan continuing to put some speed out there with DPJ and Chris Evans now.
Michigan making some last-minute subs now as they swap out Bunting for Poggi, and they're going to be forced to call a timeout to avoid illegal substitution penalty.
Yeah, you saw the referee step up and try to prevent Michigan from snapping the ball. I think Peters was very upset when he saw the confusion there between Ben Mason and Henry Poggi.
A lot of miscommunication there. Michigan used their first timeout, 7:50 remaining here in the first quarter on WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football here at Camp Randall in Madison, Wisconsin.
Unfortunately for the Wolverines, that's really the first thing to go wrong for them today. They were able to force a 3-and-out for the Badgers on their first possession. Move the ball decently in the Wolverines' first possession and still moving the ball in the drive. As we have 2nd and 7 at the 43 with 7:50 to play.
As you mentioned, moving the ball so far in their first couple of drives, at least for me, quite shocked at how well Michigan's running the ball early on here. They're using those big heavy sets, using those big guys, getting them moving up front. So the very first carry of the game for Karan Higdon went for 10 yards, or rather Chris Evans for 10 yards. Higdon reeled out that 8-yarder of his own. Michigan's got 28 yards on 7 carries. And perhaps the most impressive one was that 4-yard game by Khalid Hill on 3rd and short, where that Michigan offensive line just used their big bodies and used that power that they've been really perfecting over the past few weeks to absolutely just push back the Wisconsin Badger defensive line, which is not something easy to do at all.
Absolutely. As I mentioned in the pregame, I anticipated the Wolverines to try to tempt their fate with the Wisconsin safeties who have not had a whole lot of work to do this year. But the Wolverines, on this drive especially, they decided they're going to play Wisconsin's game. They're going to go between the tackles, and it's been successful to this point. And we'll see if maybe they can get a fast receiver like Donovan Peoples-Jones to get behind the Wisconsin defense at any point throughout the day. But they've really stolen the Wisconsin blueprint for an offensive drive. A lot of getting the tight ends involved and just medium-sized chunk plays to move the ball downfield.
And we have seen the Wolverines drop back to pass a few times, especially on that first drive. Very first play was a pass. Drew a couple flags early on, one that maybe should have been a flag, but looked like good coverage to me. So they drive back to pass about 5 times early on here in the first 2 drives. Do you think that's maybe almost going with the reverse of what you normally see, where you run the ball to set up a play-action pass? Do you think Michigan's maybe using the pass to set up the run here?
Yeah, I think that definitely could be what we're seeing. In games like this, you know, it's going to be really gritty, one in the trenches, and you can maybe distract the opposing defense with the occasional pass play in order to set up the run. So yeah, I think it might be the offense of what football has moved, the opposite of what football has moved to in recent years.
Michigan comes out 2 tight ends to the right, wide receiver to the left is Nate Shanley. I formation, Poggi and Evans behind him in the backfield. Peters hands off to Evans, running behind Poggi right up the middle, and he is going to get absolutely nothing. Stopped at the line of scrimmage and brought back.
And now one of those obvious passing downs for the Wolverines. So far, the pass protections look great. I don't think Brandon Peters has been hit so far today.
There was Ryan Connolly, the backup linebacker technically, but it has been great so far this season for the Badgers. Takes up the tackle right at the line of scrimmage there. So it'll be a 3rd and 7 upcoming for Michigan at their own 43-yard line. Michigan comes out in the shotgun formation. It's Higdon to Peters right. He's got 1 wide receiver split off to the right as Peoples-Jones. Off to left, McEwen, Perry, and McDoom. Now Perry comes in motion off to the right. And Michigan's more confusion as Peters looking over to the sideline, looks upset at his teammates. And they're going to be forced to call another timeout here on the same drive are the Wolverines. Just 47 seconds after they called their first one. 7:03 remaining here in the first quarter.
And the fans at Camp Randall have to love that, possibly force the Wolverines to take their second first quarter timeout already. There was a lot of confusion on that. The crowd noise certainly wasn't helping the Wolverine offense.
Red-clad Badger faithful rising to their feet on 3rd down. making noise, even though outside, still use their voices at the very least to create a hostile environment here on the road. Maybe getting to the young quarterback, Peters. Doesn't quite have everybody in their set spots. Well, it's the second time we've seen Michigan kind of scrambling around with where the receivers are supposed to be pre-play. Not exactly sure what's going on there, but something to watch for later in the game. Michigan has to get that cleaned up, and they're going to try to move the ball and score against this stout Wisconsin Badger defense.
Yeah, and Michigan really has to get their formations fixed here. They can't have this confusion because they've already lost 2 timeouts. They're going to have to start taking delay of game penalties if they don't get this together.
Yeah, as you mentioned, just here, a little over halfway through the first quarter, 2 timeouts were used by Michigan. Just that one left with the entire half. It's not quite as important as when it comes to the second half when you got to use those timeouts near the end of the game. Try to keep things close potentially. But still, not something you want to see if you're the Wolverines at the very least, all the confusion going on the field. Right side for Michigan, I guess, at least, is they're keeping that D-line nice and fresh for when Wisconsin tries to come out and pound the ball, as you've seen Michigan do a little bit here early on.
Yeah, absolutely.
They forced that 3-and-out on the first drive for Wisconsin.
This definitely is favorable for the Michigan defense. They've been sitting on the bench for quite some time now. They're going to be well rested and not get worn out as perhaps they were in a Penn State game. But for this game, it looks like, yeah, they're going to be well rested if patterns continue with the Michigan offense staying out on the field for much longer than the Badgers have right now. Time of possession heavily in Michigan's favor at this point.
We expected to see a quick ball game here, a lot of running clock, a lot of run plays, but half hour in, we're only halfway through this first quarter as a result of those miscues and Michigan timeouts. So now on a 3rd and 7, Michigan comes out, 2 wide receivers to the right. It's Perry and Peoples-Jones off to the left. It's McDoom and McEwen. Peters in the backfield in the shotgun with Higdon off to his right. Perry now goes in motion right to left. He sets up now bunch formation off to the left, tight slip formation for Michigan. Wisconsin showing pressure up the middle, is picked up by Michigan, but not enough. But down goes Peters. It was Garrett Dooley flying off the left end for a big sack there. He lost us 7 yards. And Michigan forced a punt here on a 4th and 15.
And there it is. We've been talking about it consistently for the entirety of our first half an hour of coverage. When will that Wisconsin pass rush come? We know Wisconsin's a great legacy. J.J. Watt, obviously a Wisconsin Badger. And that time, Dooley is able to do his J.J. Watt impression and just nails Brandon Peters.
Yeah, Wisconsin showed that pressure up the middle and then soon Dooley off the edge. Brad Robbins will be forced to punt. He's standing back around his own 20-yard line. He takes it, kicks it deep to Nick Nelson, the cornerback. This is going to bounce in front of him. See if he tries to field. No, he doesn't. He waits and lets it skip past him across the 25 down to the 20. And that is right where it stops. Down by Michigan at Wisconsin's own 20-yard line.
And the wind was unkind to Brad Robbins on his first bump. This time he's a bit several yards farther back and lets the wind carry the ball down to just behind 20. We're going to see another Wisconsin drive that effectively starts in the exact same spot at the 20-yard line.
Last time, Wisconsin picking up 4 yards on both first and second down. Stuffed on 3rd down by the Michigan defensive front. Their same-based formation. 3 tight end, wide receiver, all types of formation. In the backfield, of course, Jonathan Taylor behind Hornibrook. Hornibrook hands off to Taylor. Taylor rumbles forward, but is stopped after a gain about 3 by Tyree Cannell. Nice up there by the safety for Michigan, coming up to make a play. And now down Jonathan Taylor like he just did.
It all. The Wolverines have kind of stuck to a 4-3-4 formation. Typically, they do more of a 3-3-5. Vert Hill being out and knowing how strong this Badgers team is up front, they moved to a 4-4-3, seeing a lot of offense today.
Devin Bush's helmet came off in that last play, so Mike Robleski comes in to replace him. Someone's gotten a lot of hype from Don Brown. He loves his run-stopping ability. As Wisconsin comes out, there's only one man in the backfield again. It's now Hornibrook fakes the handoff there, rolls out to his left and goes over the middle then. Finds one of his 3 tight ends that was on the play. It was Xander Neuville. Picked up about 2 yards on the play as he checked down. The Wisconsin fans wanted a deep ball that he was rolling out to his left. Didn't go for it, so settles for 2. It'll be 3rd and 5 for Wisconsin at their own 25.
Does a great job in space, getting his arms around the waist and wrapping up the large tight end. 3rd and 5 now. He saw on 3rd and short, which is what Wisconsin's really comfortable with. They got stuffed last time. And Wisconsin's the team that were really, you don't know if they're going to run or throw on 3rd and 5. We'll see what they drop here.
So now Josh Boucher, the pass rushing specialist, comes in from Michigan as Wisconsin splits it out 5 wide. Ball is thrown, and probably good for Wisconsin there. David Long read the little screen play. Okay, he's trying to pick it off for a pick 6. But Wisconsin called the time. Didn't like the look over for giving them. So a 3rd timeout called here. Combined in the first quarter. 4:57 remaining to go in this first from action. Still no score here at Camp Randall Stadium on WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football.
This Michigan defense is going to be probably the toughest defense the Badgers will see all year until potentially the college football playoff. And right now, the offense has got to be a little bit concerned. They've ran 5 plays now, none for more than 4 yards. They're stuck with 3rd and 5. They have to be able to move the ball in bigger chunks like this, and they can't keep on coming up with these short gains or no gains that they did on 3rd and 2.
Wisconsin now coming out. We'll see if they go with that 5 wide formation again. They do. They split 2 off to the left, 3 to the right, including that tight end Fumagalli over the middle. He's the go-to guy on 3rd down for Hornibrook. Hornibrook now motions one of his receivers into the backfield. Fast back to pass. He's looking over the middle for a tight end Fumagalli. He makes the grab across the 35-yard line just in front of Josh Metellus. Pick up a Badger first down all the way down to their own 47.
And an impressive throw there by Alex Hornibrook. Josh Metellus is wearing Fumagalli was wearing Josh Metellus like a jacket, effectively. Tight window, and Alex Hornibrook definitely has faith that Fumagalli can catch any ball in his direction. There's a reason why everyone knows he's going to be playing on Sundays next year.
First down for Wisconsin at their own 40, or rather their own 37-yard line. They got a single back in the backfield. They hand it off to him. It's Taylor going off to the right side, but once again swallowed up by that Michigan defense front. Not much doing for the star running back for Wisconsin. He was swallowed up there by, it looked like, Rashawn Gary.
Yeah, really it's been Wisconsin so far today that's had to leave what they're comfortable with on offense. That they had the 12-yard gain on the previous play. Outside of that, really nothing impressive going. They might have to pass more today. It looks like Michigan has really snuffed out that great Wisconsin rushing attack so far.
So it was gain of 1. It's 2nd and 9 now for Wisconsin. They come out 2 wide receivers now. Send one in motion left to right. Still Taylor in the backfield behind Hornibrook. Now the motion goes back to the wide receiver going from right to left. He's trying to get on that right side. He does. Breaks the tackle of David Long and scoots out across the 45-yard line. Finally brought down. It was Kendrick Pryor on the carry. Josh Metellus came over to make the play. It'll be a 3rd and short now for Wisconsin after a pickup of about 7-8 yards.
And that's another less conventional but Wisconsin play. It's a jet sweep there, probably more. They like keeping the ball on the ground. That one around the tackles toward the sideline.
I should mention even Wisconsin trickery on the ground. They come out now in a 3rd and 2 at their own 46-yard line, it looks like. Hornibrook in the shotgun. He's dropping back to pass. He's looking over the middle. Now he looks to run. Maurice Hurst maybe held on the play. Looks over the middle and dropped. He was trying to find one of his several tight ends he likes to use. But it was tipped by Josh Metellus just before it got there. Another 4th down coming up for the Badgers. Another short 3rd down stop for Michigan.
Yeah, great pass breakout. That would have kept the ball moving and given Wisconsin the ball on their own side of the field. The throw is a little bit behind the intended receiver, however, by Alex Hornibrook.
If there was a time for a fake, it might be now here on 4th and 2 at their own 46-yard line. They do not, though, as this one is booted up into the air by Lottie. Peoples-Jones running up to field it. No, he's not. He's calling everybody off, but with a nice Wisconsin roll there as it bounced out of Michigan 25 and goes all the way down to the Michigan 14-yard line. So they'll have their worst field position today, starting at their own 14.
A very poor punt. Nonetheless, the ball ends up taking a very favorable Wisconsin bounce. Donovan Peoples-Jones is about 50 yards in front of the ball when it hit the ground. So he was definitely anticipating a further punt. However, it takes a favorable Wisconsin bounce. Donovan Peoples-Jones can't return it, and now the Wolverine offense going back onto the field.
They'll start at their own 14, with 2:58 remaining here in the first quarter. Still scoreless as Brandon Peters comes out in the shotgun. He splits 3 wide receivers to the left, 1 tight end, Gentry. Tight formation to the right is Higdon in the backfield with Peters to his right. Peterson takes the snap, hands off to Higdon going up the middle. Not much room at all. He'll rumble out across the 15 to the 16-yard line where he stops forward progress and pushed back. A lot of Badgers stuck there in the middle.
The offense would really hate to go 3 and out here. Their worst field position so far, and we saw the Wisconsin offense open up their playbook a lot on that last drive, and that was pretty effective for them. They were able to move the ball on a few plays considerably. Michigan is really going to want to get more yards between them and their own end zone to be comfortable.
Gain of 2. It's 2nd and 8 now. Michigan comes out 2 split out left, 2 split out. Pretty tight formation in the backfield. Peter shotgun, he does like to pass. Doesn't have much time. Goes for a screen pass to Higdon, but it is absolutely stuffed and swallowed up. Look like Garrett Rand tackle in there. Rather, TJ Edwards, the star linebacker, was right on top of Higdon, unable to make a play on that one. So we got 3rd and long yet again for Michigan.
Seeing 3rd and longs inside your own 20 is not the way to win these 10 ball games. Michigan's going to have to go deep. And last 3rd and long, we saw the Wisconsin pass rush deliver. Will the Michigan offense survive this pass rush?
Michigan trying the Wildcat again with Chris Evans trying to send somebody in motion. Only 1 second left on the snap of the play clock. They do not get it up in time. Nope, a timeout called. Jim Harbaugh furious on the Michigan sideline. Called a timeout just before it expired. Michigan had a little trickery working there in the Wildcat. It looked like they're going to have a jet sweep.
And that's just tragic for the Wolverine offense. Not only did they kind of show their hand a little bit there and give away a trick play they were trying to run, but they're also out of timeouts now. Typically, you don't want to be using your timeouts to prevent delay of games at all. You want to be using them so you can save time for a 2-minute drill. Now the Wolverines, that's off the table. They can't use their timeouts to try to preserve clock at the end of the half. But they can't even use it to prevent another delay of game now. 3rd delay of game situation they've been in. They have to think they'll see another, and they're going to have to take a delay of game next time if it's to happen.
And 8 now. Michigan striding back onto the field. Have to imagine you won't see that Wildcat look this time. As everyone in Camp Randall, clad in red, gets to their feet. Michigan will come out with 2 wide receivers, split to the left, 2 tight ends to the right. Ivan to the backfield behind Peters, all alone. Now it's McEwen in motion right to left. They pitch it left to Evans. He's trying to find the edge. Breaks the tackle, but not able to fend off enough as the Badgers swarm to the ball on that side of the field. First one there was Andrew Van Ginkel. Stopped Evans on the pitch play and a loss of 2. Michigan forced to punt yet again. It's 4th and 10.
And this first quarter has really been a field position battle. Now the Wolverines are punting as the further back than anyone else has so far today. You got Brad Robbins standing right around his own end zone, right on the goal line of his own end zone.
Yeah, as you mentioned, right at the goal line. Heels right on that white line as Michigan set to punt. Once again back for the Badgers, the cornerback Nick Nelson. He's standing right about midfield. Again, that wind can help Brad Robbins here. He boots it high into the air, tries to get a little bit of wind, but can be fielded by Nelson on a hop at around his 50. Picks it up. Now it's running towards the right. Has a little room. Breaks the tackle. Out across the 40. He's going to cut it back to the left. He's got a lot of room on that side to get up 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Wisconsin. Punt return touchdown, Nick Nelson. 50 yards. As the Badgers that strike first here with 1:15 remaining in the first quarter.
And that was quite a bizarre return. It looked like Nick Nelson was not interested in returning that ball. And I think Ambry Thomas didn't think he was going to. Went to the ground, and Nick Nelson picked it up, had good blocking, rolled down the sideline, then cut back for a touchdown.
As mentioned, Wisconsin is striking first in this big top 25 matchup, not on offense, but on special teams. Rafael Gaglianone comes in, kicked the extra point, perfect in his career, perfect on the year. 47 for 47, make it 48 of 48. It goes right down the middle. Once again, with 1:15 remaining here in the first quarter, the score, Wisconsin Badgers 7, Michigan Wolverines 0.
We're about to see the Wolverine offense trot back onto the field with the weight of the world on their shoulders. You know, they have to improve from that previous drive. And that's the it factor for this game. You can't make mistakes in a tight one like this. All points are going to be incredibly important since they'll be so far few and far between to come by. First and 20 probably wins this game, and Wisconsin just took a big step toward that goal.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the offense is not going to have much room, so Wisconsin figures, hey, why not even bother with our offense? Strikes there. What do you expect to see out of the Michigan offense now trying to respond?
I think we're going to see them open up the playbook a little bit more. They tried to run between the tackles a bit to start off that drive. We've seen a lot of wildcat for the Wolverines. That's something they've been using a lot this year. I'm going to guess we'll see a little bit more wildcat trickery on this drive.
They're trying to confuse that stout defensive front of Wisconsin. Put some things on tape they haven't seen yet this year. As Zach Hinsey will kick it off deep now for the Badgers. It's going to be Ambry Thomas fielding at his own 2-yard line right in the middle of the field. He starts going left, gets a block from Brett Hawkins out across the middle of the field, cuts back across the 25 out to the 30, where he's finally brought down. Nice return there for Ambry Thomas. Michigan will have some nice field position starting at their own 30-yard line exactly.
And it seemed like Wisconsin might have been game planning for that. They had a few kick return coverage men back there completely unblocked after Thomas broke through. Perhaps they were in a prevent kick return coverage, not allowing any special teams points to go up on the board.
Didn't want to let a special teams touchdown answer a special teams touchdown. Wants to make the Michigan offense earn it. They'll try that as they flip Peoples-Jones out to the left, McDoom to the right, 2 tight ends, 1 to each side. McEwen now comes in motion from the left to the right. Higdon in the backfield, Peters in the pistol. Peters fields the snap, hands out to Higdon going in the middle. He starts left, cuts right, breaks the tackle, spins a little bit, gets out across the 33-yard line, out to run the 34, where he'll be stopped and swallowed up. Looks like TJ Edwards for Wisconsin, swallowing up after a gain of about 4. So it will be 2nd and 6 for the Wolverines.
I think it's crucial the Wolverines don't abandon the run game. Keep trying to go between the tackles, keep the Badger defense honest.
So it'll be Ty Isaac now getting his first action in a couple of weeks for the Wolverines. He's in the backfield, single back behind Peters. Perry comes in motion right to left, and shoot out to each side. Now Perry on the slot. Evans, or rather Isaac, didn't do a good job on it, but Peters able to get the pass away anyway to Peters over the middle. He gets it out to around the 40-yard line. Going to be close for a first down. Looks like a stoppage here for an injured player. Can't see who it is right now.
And I think it's Ty Isaac. It appeared he got injured trying to block. You mentioned it while you were calling the play. It was a bizarre attempt to block. Just kind of let the oncoming pass rusher take a step by him. I wonder if he stepped and re-injured himself somehow awkwardly on that play. He just kind of let the man get by him and went to the ground. Truly bizarre play. Peters wasn't able to get the pass off, though.
Able to get the pass off, like I said, to Grant Perry right over the middle of the field, who caught the ball and tried to stretch out for a first before going down. It's going to be about 3rd and a half a yard, but right now the concern with Ty Isaac, who's back inside the Michigan 30-yard line, laying on his back. You got 5 trainers there for Michigan, all surrounding him.
And Isaac has struggled with some lower body injuries so far this year. And I have to think he re-aggravated that while trying to play in his first game action in a couple weeks. He's now sitting up, which is good to see that he's making progress towards being able to walk off the field. But still, formed by a host of athletic trainers, he's now getting up, and it looks like he's going to walk off the field on his own power. That's always great to see.
Good to see as Khalid Hill comes over to help him up. Big hammering panda there. Normally leads the way for his running backs. Always there to help them out when they need it. And speaking of the hammering panda, they went to him last time on 3rd and short, did Michigan. They brought in that super heavy set. Do you expect to see the same thing here at 3rd and a half yard to go?
I think that's what the fans want to see. I think that's what everyone watching back at home, this being the center of national attention today, being the site of College game day. I think people want to see that massive set. Looks like we're not going to get to see it until at least the 2nd quarter, though, as the clock is running following the injury, and they're going to give themselves even extra time to think about this play.
Yeah, the clock ticks down 2-1-0. And that is the end of the first quarter action here at Camp Randall. The score after 1 quarter here in Madison, Wisconsin. Badgers 7, Wolverines 0. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football. Thank you for tuning in today on WCBNsports.org or YouTube.com/WCBN Sports. As always, we encourage you, log on WCBNsports.org. Check out a lot of blog posts going up. Got a lot of great content coming out. A lot of new writers. You'll soon be hearing on the airwaves throughout various broadcasts, especially during basketball season. You've got basketball season coming up here, which both of these two schools are always looking forward to. Wisconsin in particular, we were at the Kohl Center last night for some hockey, but definitely ready to transition that over to the hardwood, where Wisconsin has had so much success over the past decade or two.
Yeah, of course, a few years ago, they were on the doorstep of a national championship, had a sizable lead in the second half, and then that, out of nowhere, Duke was able to come back. You could argue a few questionable calls may have helped the Blue Devils back into that game. Nonetheless, it was a thrilling conclusion to a fantastic March Madness that year. Frank Kaminsky ends up not winning a championship at Wisconsin. A game after the Badgers knocked off the undefeated Kentucky Wildcats. Really a great athletic tradition here. As you mentioned, we called hockey last night. That was a top 25 matchup as well, with the 17th ranked Michigan Wolverines in hockey taking on the number 9 ranked Wisconsin Badgers. That ended up being a 7-3 victory for the Badgers in a game that was much closer than the score would have told you.
As you mentioned, great athletic tradition here at the University of Wisconsin, and getting to those Final Fours in basketball. The Wisconsin Badgers now looking to get to the Final Four in football, sitting just outside that top 4 in the college football playoff rankings. They're ranked number 5. Got to figure a quality win here over the number 24 ranked Michigan Wolverines would help potentially propel them up into that top 4, get them in prime position to make it to the playoff, maybe another championship game for the Badgers.
And an excellent connection there. Both Wisconsin football and basketball kind of ended up on the doorstep of the Final Four last year, with the Badgers defeating a team from Michigan, the Western Michigan Broncos, in the Cotton Bowl last year. So New Year's Six Bowl, not quite the Final Four college football playoff, but they were on the doorstep of winning the Big Ten championship, and who knows what would have happened then had they been able to win. Probably would have still not gotten in and gone to the Rose Bowl instead. And then men's basketball lost a thriller to Florida in the Sweet 16 round of the NCAA March Madness. But this game would really secure that Wisconsin's going to finish up their season with a road trip to Minneapolis to take on the Golden Gophers, who the Michigan Wolverines defeated handily back in Ann Arbor 2 weeks ago with a 33-10 victory. You have to think, if Wisconsin can survive this test, they're going to go on to the playoffs. And speaking of the college football playoffs, the team breathing down Wisconsin's neck, number 6 Auburn, is tied right now in the second quarter with UL Monroe. They're bringing that game up onto the big screen here at Camp Randall.
We got a live look in here on the big screen. Not something you normally see very often at college stadiums. I like it, especially when you have the team, as you said, right in the hunt for the playoffs.
Yeah, they have to be careful. Anyone can jump them. Auburn, if they went out, you'd have to anticipate an Auburn team that defeated Alabama and won the SEC would be in, even over undefeated Wisconsin.
And it looks like Michigan's got the heavy set back out there again. A lot of large human beings in the huddle. Big Mike on when you coming back in. The extra offensive lineman, Steven Spinellis, wearing number 82 today, making his way into the ball game, as well as Ian Bunting. Looks like the exact same formation. Lots of big men. Hill and Mason in the backfield. Peters under center. In motion now, going up the middle to Hill again. He stopped initially, but then fights forward, as he always seems to do, and gets out across the 40 to about the 41.5-yard line. It'll be enough for another Michigan first down on 3rd and short.
That's been fantastic for the Wolverines today, and I think they're loving to entertain all the fans watching across the country here for the premier matchup in college football this week. Give the fans what they want. Who doesn't love to see big men with the football? And this is really just classic Big Ten football there. Just a massive set of players on the field.
Now Mo Hurst in the game, rather Mo Ways in the game for Michigan. He split out wide to left. McEwen comes in motion from left to right as Evans comes out of the backfield, splits out right. It's only Khalid Hill in the backfield. He picks up the blitz as Peter starts back to pass. Peter scrambling around now, can't find anything. Starting to scramble to his left, trying to get outside. Does he have enough room? He's tripped up, though, after a gain of about 1. It was the star linebacker, T.J. Edwards.
However, the Wolverines were able to pick up the blitz for quite some time there. Peters had to dance around a bit. However, he did have a few good seconds to try to find a receiver. Everyone was covered downfield to take off for a 1-yard gain. But with exception to the one third down, 3rd and long, where we saw Garrett Dooley punish Brandon Peters, pretty good play from the Wolverines offensive line so far today.
They'll come out 2 wide receivers, split right. As long as they tight end to the right, one to the left, they hand off to Evans out of the shotgun. He goes to left, tries to break a tackle, but is tripped up, and down he goes. It's Ryan Connolly on the tackle. Gain of about 2-yard line, or rather, gain of about 2 to the 45-yard line of Michigan. They'll be in another 3rd and long, about 3rd and 7 upcoming.
Yeah, Michigan really, if they could, they want to be on 3rd and 1 every single drive because that maximum set has worked well for them. They're going to probably have to go to the air here and withstand the Wisconsin pass rush.
Mason Cole giving Brandon Peters a little bit of instruction before this play. They split 3 to the right, 1 to the left. It's Evans to the backfield with Peters in the shotgun. Peters now kicks the leg up, takes the snap. Only sending 4 now, and a little stunt is Wisconsin. Peters breaks the tackle. He's scrambling off to his right, trying to look downfield. He's got Gentry open. Underthrows him a bit, though, and it's broken up. Latrell Jamerson was able to get there and get a hand on it. And wow, Gentry was wide open, streaking behind the defense. Missed opportunity there for the Wolverines.
That's a difficult throw to make for Peters on the run. It looked like he was looking to see if he could pick up the first down on his feet. Didn't think he could and had to throw on the run to Gentry. And that's part of the Wisconsin pass rush. They forced Peters out of the pocket, so he couldn't get a good, clean throw off.
So another punt here for Michigan, and Brad Robbins. He's at his own 30-yard line. Got to be careful. Last time it was Nick Nelson. Brought back a 50-yard return for the touchdown. Robbins takes a high snap and boots it. Very short kick. This one's going to land at the Wisconsin 25. And a great Wolverine bounce goes all the way down inside the 5-yard. Stopped at the Wolverine 1. The first touching for the Wolverines at the 4, though, or rather the 3-yard line. A nice bounce there for Brad Robbins. Ends up being one heck of a kick.
Have you ever seen so many men ever try to down a football all at the same time together? I counted 9 Wolverines in the pile who all jumped on that football.
I said the ball bounced just outside the Wisconsin 25 and then caromed at a rapid pace down near that goal line. You don't see that very often. Like you said, 9 Wolverines just all sprinting after that ball. Wisconsin Badgers fleeing from the area, trying not to get hit.
I think Brad Robbins is getting adjusted to the wind out here at Camp Randall today. We saw his first 2 punts were very much impacted by the wind. 3rd one got ran back, and this time I think he tried to make sure this one couldn't be returned, but the wind really got to that ball. Took a very favorable Wolverine bounce nonetheless.
And the wind was at Brad Robinson's face that time, so kicking into the wind perhaps contributed to that short one. Nice shot there by Robbins. Tried to put as much top spin as he could on that ball and get that extra little roll. Wisconsin will start with their worst field position of the day inside their own 3. We come back from the break. It's 12:47 remaining here in the second quarter. Wisconsin leads Michigan 7-0 on WCBN Sports broadcast of Michigan football. As now the Wisconsin student section starting to fill in here. Almost full to the top. They have a general admission policy, so it goes up from bottom to top rather. And only a few rows of bleachers left in most of the sections.
It's cold out here. It's cold out here in Madison, but this stadium is absolutely packed. Just red everywhere beside the aisles, with a few splotches of maize, few and far between. Pretty good showing from the Wolverine faithful, but this stadium is so full, with the exception to the student section, which takes its time to fill up. It's very densely packed up front, with a few empty rows that are going to maybe fill up a bit more here. I still see students coming in now. We're already in the second quarter, 12:47 to go, but students still coming in.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it absolutely packed. One way to stay warm is to get real close with your neighbor, cuddle up everybody, of course, in their big winter coats, breaking them out for this ball game today. An 11 o'clock a.m. Central Time start here in Madison.
And now the Badger offense taking the field for the first time in probably about 6 minutes of game time. They had a special teams return, so, Nick Nelson did all the work for them last time. But now they're back onto the field, have not looked that great. The Michigan offense has looked better than the Badger offense so far. They're back up at their own 3. Got to be careful here.
Wisconsin coming out, 2 wide receivers, 1 to each side. You got a fullback and 1 running back offset eye in the backfield. Hornibrook under center now. Wide receiver in motion from right to left. Now he stops, goes back. Not jet sweep motion. They hand off up the middle. It is not Jonathan Taylor, but rather Bradrick Shaw, who tries to fight forward for a yard or 2. Looks like he's going to pick up 1 out to the Wisconsin 4, where he's brought down by Mike McCray in the middle.
And Wisconsin might be the most difficult team in the nation to get a safety on. With the great offensive line and the way they run the ball, how hard it is to take down Jonathan Taylor, who can really get a lot of yards after carry. which it would surely be fantastic for the Wolverine defense if they could come up with one. But for right now, they're looking to stop the Badgers and get good field position for their offense.
Frederick Shaw a little bit bigger than Taylor. He's still in the backfield as Hornibrook now rolls out to his left. He finds his tight end Fumagalli on the outlet off to the left side. He's pushed out of bounds by David Long, but not before he gets out to the 10-yard line. Gain of about 6 yards. It's going to be another 3rd and short for Wisconsin, 3rd and 3 to be exact.
Rashawn Gary nearly got the rare feat of a safety on the Wisconsin offense. Was pressuring Hornibrook, but he finds Fumagalli, 3rd and short. Michigan knows what they want to do on 3rd and short. We'll see if the Badgers can figure out what their 3rd and short play is. They're 0 for 2 so far on 3rd and short, picking up only a 3rd and long so far today.
As Wisconsin brings in the fullback there, Austin Ramesh, still Bradrick Shaw right behind him in the eye. Hornibrook under center, 2 tight ends to the right, 1 to the left. They hand off going to the right side. Shaw tries to cut back up the middle. He stops but fights forward, keeps the legs churning, gets out to the 12, but he's still going to be short.
And I don't think we saw any Jonathan Taylor on that drive. The Badgers really have to get him going. They're up 7-0, but it's not thanks to their offense. And they have to imagine the Wolverines will put some points on the board eventually. They have to find a way to get Jonathan Taylor more involved in this game as it goes on.
So another 3rd and short run stuff there for the Wolverines. It'll be 4th and 1, and Wisconsin will be forced to punt from inside their own zone. Anthony Lottie about 3 yards deep. Time is down on Peoples-Jones just across the 50. Michigan look like they're going to send a lot there on the rush. They do. They send everybody. Not able to get there in time. Maybe a penalty. No, it was a flop by the punter Lottie as that punt bounced at the 50 and takes a big Michigan bounce all the way over to the Wisconsin 40-yard line. The Wisconsin crowd does not like it, but I don't think anybody really made contact with Lottie. He hopped forward about 4 yards.
No, Khalik Hudson nearly got there. However, he ended up whiffing, didn't get the ball or the punter. And I think that's a good call by the officials. They're getting an earful from the Badger faithful, who are also upset that pass took a...
And upon another replay there, it looked like it might have been a roughing the kicker unless Khalik Hudson got a piece of it. I don't think he did. That should have been a roughing the kicker call. He took out the plant leg of Anthony Lottie. Michigan gets away with one. They'll start on the Wisconsin 40-yard line. Absolutely fantastic field position. We'll see if Michigan can finally put together a scoring drive here. 10:43 remaining in the first half of action. Michigan comes out I formation. Kareem Walker's in the game. Send a tight end for Ewan. They hand off to Walker running towards that left. He's going to have absolutely no room. It was the fullback, TJ Edwards, swarming in there and tripping up Kareem Walker before he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Loss of 1. 2nd and 11 upcoming.
Wisconsin does not turn the ball over, and they also have not. The Michigan defense has not forced too many turnovers. Michigan has to be thinking this is probably the best field position they'll see all day, and they really need to take advantage of it. They're going backwards as it is right now.
2nd 11 from the Wisconsin 41-yard line. Michigan comes out with a full house package. Poggi and Gentry in the backfield. The Gentry goes off to the right. It's Higdon back there now, an offset eye. Peters fakes the hand out to him. Josh side back. He's trying to go deep. He's got a man. It's Gentry on the right sideline. He catches him off 15. Makes it get to the 10. Jumped up and down to the 6-yard line is Zach Gentry. And Brandon Peters is down well behind the play, though, down on the Wisconsin logo at midfield.
I don't know when he got hit because he had all day to throw that. Now a timeout for the injured Brandon Peters, but he is up on his feet walking with his offensive lineman. Jim Harbaugh goes out to talk to him. And Peters had a long time to move around the pocket. He was able to step forward into his throw to Zach Gentry and deliver a good ball and let Gentry run up to the 6-yard line.
Beautiful play design there for Michigan. They sent Gentry on the little wheel route after he was started out in the backfield on the full house. He motioned out to the right as Peters will jog off. They call the timeout for him, so he has to come out of the ball game, and John O'Korn will make his way into the Michigan huddle, it looks like. So O'Korn in charge of the Michigan offense, at least for one play here. Michigan comes out I formation. Poggi and Higdon behind O'Korn. McHugh the tight end to the left. One wide receiver split out to each side, McDoom and Krakoa Crawford. O'Korn puts McDoom in motion, left to right near the formation. He hands off to Higdon going up the middle. No room whatsoever, though, as he is swallowed up by the the Wisconsin defense. Gain of only about 1. Looked like Andrew Van Ginkel got in there, along with Alec James, the defensive end.
That was the first play the entire game that either team has possessed the ball inside the red zone. And Wisconsin might be the most difficult team in the country to move the ball in. against in the red zone with how great their front seven is.
So Brandon Peters comes back onto the field along with a few other subs for Michigan. Our correspondent Jeff Chan letting us know it looks like Peters got the wind knocked out of him there. It looks to be okay. He's under center here with Higdon in the backfield. Got two tight ends to the right. Now McEwen also motioned over to the right. Drop back, the pass goes up. Jump ball for Donald Peoples-Jones to the left. It is out of bounds. It took a while for the call to be made. The coverage was Nick Nelson there and Donald Peoples-Jones. Peoples-Jones not agreeing with the call at all as he's had to be brought away by Ben Bredesen. He tried to get the little toe touch in on the sideline.
And possibly another consequence of Michigan having no timeouts. They can't challenge that. I think it was absolutely worth a challenge. That play happened very quickly. I couldn't tell if Peoples-Jones was able to tap his toes. Nonetheless, 3rd and goal from the 5 now.
As you said, 3rd and goal from the 5-yard line. Michigan's out 3, split to the left. McEwen tight tail formation to the right. Higdon in the backfield behind Peters. Now McEwen motions out to the right. We're going to have a timeout. I think we're going to get a review from the booth. And indeed, we are getting a review from the Big Ten review officials booth. Donald Peoples-Jones looked absolutely certain he got his feet in. We have yet to see a replay.
That was a fantastic effort. It was a fantastic effort either way. Possibly the best catch for the Wolverines on the year if he did.
And it looks like based on our Twitter feed, that should be a touchdown. Look like Peoples-Jones got his toes in, not only 1 foot, but possibly 2. The NFL style, of course, you only need 1 here in college.
And another important difference is that Donovan Peoples-Jones is that the way the pass was defended, it never looked like the quarterback turned his head. I believe that was Natrell Jamerson, I think, who was on the coverage.
And we're getting our first look at the replay. It's hard to see based on the camera angle we saw. I have to imagine there's a better camera angle out there. Again, Peoples-Jones, as soon as he caught the ball, was motioning that he knew he got his foot down. There's a little mark in the end zone. It looks like a little bit of exactly where his foot landed. Doesn't appear to be out of bounds. I can't tell if it's a mark from Peoples-Jones, but it looks about a foot-shaped mark right where he landed.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. You can kind of see the implant for where Peoples-Jones dragged his foot. We're pretty confident this is going to be overturned and will be ruled a touchdown. And Natrell Jamerson was all over Peoples-Jones. Wasn't looking towards the ball whatsoever. Jones got up, got to the ball. And so it appears Jones certainly had at least 1 foot in. It will come down to whether or not his other foot hit the ground first out of bounds.
Yeah, 1 foot was in, 1 foot was out. It's all going to depend on what foot came down first. Tough to see. I think the foot in bounds came down first, but can't tell. We'll get the ruling here. The ruling on the field stands there. Couldn't tell which foot came down first. So we will resume action. 3rd and 5. No touchdown for Donovan Peoples-Jones. Wisconsin looking for a big stop here as literally everyone in this stadium on their feet.
That'll be a tough pill for Peoples-Jones to swallow. And you never want to see 3rd and goal from the 5 here in historic Camp Randall Stadium.
A Peoples-Jones, McDoom, and Gentry split to the left. McEwen tight formation right. Higdon in the backfield. Looks like Michigan's running the exact same play as McEwen splits out to the right. Peters under center. Peters now surveys defense. Looking right. Doesn't see anybody now. Scrambles to his left. Going to try to find an open receiver. He gets around the end. Maybe he's going to run for it. Makes a move around the 5. Stretches out. And he loses the ball. He lost the ball at the 2-yard line. Recovered by Wisconsin.
A very poor decision there. He should have thrown that ball away. He knew there was no chance he was going to be able to get into the end zone there. Poor decision there by Brandon Peters. Not much else to say about that. And a great effort by the Badger defense. They were all over him, and he got game tackled and gave up the ball.
Yeah, it's one thing if you're stretching the ball out when you're at the 1-yard line. He was at the 4. He had no chance at all of getting that in the end zone. And now Michigan can't even redeem this offensive drive with a field goal, as Wisconsin's going to take over at their own 2.
And now it's the same script for the Wolverine defense as last time. Try to make sure they can set up their offensive good field position and hope that field position does not go to waste.
We get the replay here. We'll try to figure out exactly who knocked the ball out. He was actually knocked out from behind, so no chance that Peters was out of bounds before he got it stripped. It was Derek Tyndall on the recovery.
And it's important that I apologize to Peters here. He did not extend the ball. He was trying to reach for the ball as the ball was knocked out from behind and was reaching to try to gather it. From our view, it looked like he was extending the football. He was attempting to recover, but really he should have thrown that ball away or just ran out of bounds. Doesn't matter too much from inside the 5 whether or not you lose a yard for stepping out of bounds.
Looks like they're going to respot the ball. It'll be at Wisconsin's own 1 yard line, very similar when they started the last drive. They weren't able to pick up a first down. But a huge momentum shift there as Michigan, after hitting the big pass to Gentry, looked to be in business. Might be the offense to put points on the board first. But no. Wisconsin will send their offense back onto the field. Already leading 7-0 with 8:42 remaining here in the first half.
And we've got a score update that has made the crowd go crazy here at Camp Randall. Wisconsin looking ahead at number 3 Miami, who is presently 14-7 against Virginia. Miami at home, and they're undefeated, hosting an unranked Virginia Commodores. Development today, if Miami loses, that would all but guarantee Wisconsin controls their own destiny.
Yeah, definitely an interesting development that could send ripples across the college football world. Of course, Wisconsin got to take care of business, doing a good job here early on, able to stand tall when they needed to on some big third downs. Especially that third down there was 3rd and goal, before Michigan fumbled it away at the 1 yard line.
And another score is that it's still 7-7, as I mentioned earlier, in that Auburn-Louisiana-Monroe game. And also 23rd ranked Northwestern, just a spot ahead of the Michigan Wolverines, leads Wisconsin's next opponent, the Minnesota Golden Gophers, 13-0.
Michigan going with a little bit of a heavy look on defense, maybe trying to clog up some holes and get in the backfield. They bring Brian Monet in right in the middle of the defense.
And I think that's the first time we've seen Monet today. We've seen Aubrey Sullivan be getting most of the snaps at the second nose tackle position outside of Maurice Hurst.
Wisconsin once again with Bradrick Shaw in the backfield. They're in an I with 3 tight ends, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Michigan scrambling to get in position. They do not get so in time. Horny wishing to drop back the pass. He's looking long. He's got Fumagalli out across the 15-yard line. Fumagalli makes the grab, keeps fighting forward all the way across the 20 before finally being dragged down by a combination of Josh Metellus and Kalik Hudson. All the way to the 21-yard line is where they're going to spot it. Great play action there from their own 1 yard line. A 20-yard pickup for Wisconsin, and they're got a first down.
Courtney Brook executed that play perfectly, was able to get the ball snapped before Chase Winovich was in position, which limited some of the pass rush. Then does a great play fake, gets the defenders to bite on the play action, and finds Fumagalli open for a big gain.
Big tight end out of Wisconsin Valley High School, and now goes in motion right to left I formation with Taylor back in the game. They hand off Taylor on delayed handoff going up the middle. He breaks the tackle. Monet cuts back over the middle of the field and rumbles forward for about 12 yards out across the 30-yard line all the way to the 32. Finally brought down there what looked like Josh Metellus.
We've seen a tragic stretch of 3 plays here for the Wolverines, fumbling the ball with 3rd and goal from the 5. Now they just allowed 2 big plays for the Badgers, back-to-back first down gains. Really, they cannot afford to do this and get into a 14 or 10-0 hole with points so few and far between.
Wisconsin coming in now. 2 wide receivers, 1 to each side. 1 tight end to the right, offset I to the left in the backfield. Taylor, Honeybrook, hands off to Taylor. Another delayed handoff up the middle. He starts driving, now bounces right. He's got plenty of room. He makes a move out across the 45, out across the 50. Dragged down at the Michigan 47-yard line by Tyree Cannell. And Jonathan Taylor getting in a groove now. Not good for Michigan.
That's the 3rd straight first down play. That's the entire drive for the Badgers has been first down after first down after first down. They had 2 first downs in the game going into this drive. They now have 5. Really, just by far and away the best drive we've seen from the Badgers today.
Getting chunk play after chunk play. Jonathan Taylor staying in the game, single back now. Wisconsin shifts around preset. They got 3 blockers to the left, 1 wide receiver to the right. They pitch to the left, but swallowed up by Maurice Hurst. My goodness, absolutely brutalized the center there. Got in the backfield and stopped Jonathan Taylor before he could even get going for a 4-yard loss back across to the Wisconsin side of midfield at their own 49.
How does a man as big as Maurice Hurst go unblocked into the backfield like that? That's totally unfair to Jonathan Taylor, who also was met by Aubrey Solomon at the very end of that play. Not really anything Taylor can do about that. He has to expect more from his offensive line in that case.
Tyler Biadish, the redshirt freshman, was questionable coming into the game. He's out there, but maybe showing a little effects of that injury. Normally great, but Maurice Hurst, even better on that play. It's 2nd and 14 for Wisconsin. Hornibrook drop backs to pass now. He's looking to his right. And did it hit the ground? It did. Brandon Watson thought he had a pick. He was targeting Kendrick Pryor. Watson had him covered like a blanket. But it did hit the ground, it looks like.
Was that the first time Hornibrook has targeted a receiver in this game? I think it has. He's been throwing to fullbacks and tight ends really exclusively so far. And maybe he doesn't want to go back to that. It was a poor throw, and Brandon Watson nearly came up with a great interception.
Yeah, very young receiving core for those Scott Badgers. Lost Jazz Peavy earlier this season. Lost Queen Tez Cephas, their leading receiver, just a couple weeks ago. Now they come out with two split to the left along with Fumagalli. One split to the right. Hornibrook drop pass on 3rd and 14. He's looking deep down the right side. He's going over the middle now and snagged over the middle. It's one of those young wide receivers, Danny Davis III, the freshman Springfield, Ohio, with a big grab all the way down to the Michigan 36-yard line. That's enough for a first down.
So Hornibrook goes right back to a receiver, and it works this time. Gets about a yard beyond the first down marker, and that keeps the chains moving. Now their fourth first down on their drive, doubling their first down total previously in the game.
And what a snag there from Davis right in front of Tyree Cannell. Bring it another stoppage of play here. We're going to get another review here. I think that one should stand as well. That just looked like a great grab from the freshman.
Completely agree with you there, Austin. It looked like a fine catch. I was surprised to see that they were going to take another look at this, but you never know what's a catch nowadays, and perhaps the ball was jarred loose by the ground. We'll have to see.
We only really saw one angle, but it did look pretty definitive. It was a bullet of a throw from Alex Hornibrook, who's not known for having the strongest arm, but really rifled that one in over the middle. Had Danny Davis with a little inside position on Tyree Cannell, and Davis extended his arms, full extension grab up and off to his right. One of those hands catches you like to see. Oh, Chiefs wide receivers bringing in with the hands. He definitely did so there.
And the thought never really crossed my mind that it could have been an incompletion. We're now seeing a review here. Looks like he has his hands on it. Can't really see from this angle. Davis's shoulder is in the way. The nose of the ball might have hit the ground before it was secured. I don't know.
We're getting another look here, and the tip of the ball hit the ground, but I think he may have had control through the catch. I don't know if there's enough to overturn this call at all.
Times like this, I'm glad I'm not a referee having to make decisions like that.
The nose of the ball definitely hit the ground, but again, I think Davis had control all the way through, regardless of whether that ball hit the ground or not. Though we've been wrong once already today on reviews, we'll see what we get on this one.
Yeah, the WCBN team is 0 for 1. We'll see what happens. If it's a catch, we'll improve to 1 for 2. They're still taking a look. They're taking quite some time. It has to be a good sign for the Michigan defense. It will be off the field. Keep in mind that was 3rd and 14 when that pass was completed. Michigan the ball would be on the Badger 49 if it was incomplete. Although I anticipate it will stand. They're still looking. The head official has not walked back toward the field at all yet.
And at this point, I think you just got to let the call stand. We talk about these long reviews in football. It's been a problem in baseball specifically as well. But at this point, if you can't see a definitive angle, I think you pretty much have to leave the call stand, which right now is a big gain for Wisconsin. A 15-yard completion on 3rd and 14. That would give Wisconsin a first down at the Michigan 36.
I agree with you totally. And even if this is overturned, it looks like a common sense catch to me. Nothing about that catch seemed incorrect. It would have to be a bizarre rule coming into effect here if this ball is ruled incomplete. But you never know in college football or the NFL nowadays what exactly is a catch.
The crowd getting a little unruly here, waiting for a decision to be made. We're going to get it. And the ball hit the ground. They ruled it when the tip of the ball hit the ground. It bounced away. So Jeremy Parks over here engineering 1 for 2 on his reviews for today. So it's going to be a 4th and 14. Big swing of momentum there as Wisconsin was driving, picking up chunk plays after chunk plays. Now they're going to be forced to punt just on their side of the 50.
And the Badger punting squad, they didn't realize how far back the ball is going to be. They lined up at around the 40-yard line, back toward their own 49 where the ball really will be snapped.
See if Wisconsin's punter Anthony Lottie can Michigan deep here. He's going at his back. Donovan Peoples-Jones standing about his own 12-yard line, ready to receive this one. See if Michigan does the pressure yet again. Probably should have had a roughing the punter call last time, but didn't get it. They were very close to blocking. It was Kalik Hudson. They're sending the house again. Not going to get remotely close to blocking now. Peoples-Jones runs the field at his own 17-yard line and is immediately brought down. Absolutely no chance at a return there for Peoples-Jones. Not really sure why he didn't call a fair catch on that one, but
that's what he has to call a fair catch. He ends up losing about a yard or two from his momentum being carried backward on the tackle. Early in the year, we saw he returned everything in the Florida game and ended up getting benched in the second half of the Air Force game, I believe it was. No, the Cincinnati game, for being too risky with his returns. Really nothing to be gained by trying to return that one.
And while you admire a guy that has the confidence trying to make something happen for his team, who's trailing 7-0 here, 5:58 remaining in the first quarter, you've already seen one punt return for a touchdown on the Wisconsin side. The corner, Nick Nelson, the only score of the game was a 50-yarder. So you have to admire, to an extent, Donovan Peoples-Jones' willingness to go out there in the ball game. But as you mentioned, just has to make sure he's not too careless. That easily could have ended up a fumble with how close those Wisconsin Gunners were to hitting him as soon as he caught the ball.
And how relieved do you think Don Brown is that pass was ruled incomplete? That was going to be the fourth first down picked up on that drive. And now his defense is still pitching a shutout. They were not responsible for the touchdown that was scored.
It's something Don Brown can take to the locker room at halftime. Should Michigan be able to keep that alive? Talk to his defense about what they're doing right. Maybe shore up the couple of holes Wisconsin was able to exploit on that last drive. More importantly for Michigan now is they're going to start at their own 16. They are a long way from the red-turfed Wisconsin-clad end zone they need to get into if they want to tie this ball game up before halftime.
Yeah, with the way that Wisconsin's offense is moving the ball on that last drive with a questionable incompletion ruling ending that drive, you really think that the Wolverine offense has got to be thinking, let's get a real long drive, run out a long 4 or 5 minute drive, 5:58 to go right now. If they can get to the end zone, tie this game up, and then go into the halftime, Wisconsin will be receiving the ball going in to start the second half. So to fall down by more than one score here would be tragic for the Wolverines in a low-scoring game. So far, we've gotten what was promised, a defensive battle, good special teams, and good running the football here in a real Midwestern showdown. Great classic Big Ten football.
Yeah, we talked about this really grinded out style of both teams, like to play defense, like to run the ball, and Michigan started off early, finding holes in the run game. Those were sealed pretty quickly for Wisconsin, and since when Michigan moved the ball, it's been a chunk plays of passing the ball or maybe breaking off a quick run. What do you expect to see here out of the Michigan offense as they try to onto the field at their own 16?
I think we're going to see them go to the air more. That Zach Tendry pass on the last drive really worked out. I think they're going to really test the Wisconsin secondary. If
they want, they got Kakoa Crawford lined up right now, one-on-one with Nick Nelson, who was the man responsible for pushing Donovan Peoples-Jones out of bounds. Last drive, Michigan comes out I formation. Evans in the backfield behind Poggi to the tight end in motion. McEwen from the right to the left. They're going to hand off to Evans going left. He tries to find the hole, but is immediately brought down. Not sure if he got across the 15. He did out to the 16. Brought down by the aggressive safety, Dakota Dixon, who's been playing in the box just about all day long and making tackles right at the line of scrimmage.
And Evans had a hole when he ran toward it, but it was quickly closed by Dakota Dixon, who makes a good arm tackle and brings down Evans.
Now Michigan's going to come out Higdon in the ball game instead of Evans now. Peoples-Jones split out to the left. Out to the right is Grant Perry. It looks like one tight end to each side for Brandon Peters under center. Peters drops back to pass now. 4 on the rush for Wisconsin. He's throwing deep. He's got Donovan Peoples-Jones open over the middle of the field. Peoples-Jones makes the grab at the 40-yard line of Wisconsin. What a grab, Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Fantastic play right there for the Wolverine offense. That's exactly what I recommended they attempt. Pass to the Wisconsin secondary. It looked like it was Derek Tyndall who was tested there. Wisconsin hasn't seen too many great passing offenses, and possibly the best athlete on the field, Donovan Peoples-Jones, was able to beat the whole defense on that one.
He had a one-on-one grab, or had a one-on-one chance and made the grab. Now Michigan comes out in the I formation. They fake the handoff there. Peters looking to throw. Now he has a ladder up the middle. He tries to scramble and slides down. Immediately hit there by TJ Edwards after a gain of 1. Scary hit there for a second. Actually, going to be no gain at all as Michigan is going to remain at the Wisconsin 36.
TJ Edwards delivers a lot of pain. He's going to be playing NFL one day. And that's a, scary hit. You don't want to see your quarterback taking that for a 0-yard gain, especially right after he threw such a good ball to Donovan Peoples-Jones. It was just as far as it needed to be, that pass. He just threw to Peoples-Jones.
See if Michigan goes back to the air. They got a lot of one-on-one matchups, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Peters in the shotgun, Higdon to his left. He's going to hand off, it's Evans to his left. Evans going right, tries to break a tackle, does, but unable to get out much farther than the 35. Gets over to the 34. Where he's brought down by TJ Edwards, who's there yet again to make a tackle for a minimum gain.
And just like that, the Michigan offense has been feeling great about itself, now being in 3rd and long. Wonder what they'll do here. It's a long field goal, especially in the cold, with the ball at the 34-yard line.
Yeah, this is into the wind. You have to imagine not in field goal range for another 10 yards or so. 17 seconds on the play clock as Michigan's trying to get set. 2 wide receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Higdon in the backfield, right. Evans in the backfield. Next to Brandon Peters off to his right. Peters drops back to pass. Wisconsin sending 4 on a stunt. Picked up by Michigan. Peters now goes over the middle. It's caught by Evans. He's running to the left, out across the 25, out to the 20. Brought down and out of bounds by TJ Edwards, not before he gets all the way down to the Wisconsin 15 for another first down for the Wolverines.
Smart play there by Peters. He stakes around in the pocket. And again, good pass protection. Peters has a lot of time to throw. Finally finds Evans, who looked like he was kind of in one of those plays where you fake block, then after a while you get open. And he was just faster than the 2 linebackers in his vicinity, can dash to the end zone, to the end line and to the out of bounds and picks up the first down.
Now Evans will come out, be replaced by Higdon. Michigan 3-yard receiver still to the right, 1 to the left. Grant Perry in motion from right to left. Now in the slot over there as Peter shot back to back. He's looking for Perry on a route over the middle. Instead he finds McEwen on the middle inside the 5-yard line. He's fighting for the goal line, down at the half-yard line. That'll be 1st and goal though for Michigan as they pick up 14 on a strike down the middle of the field to Brandon Peters, one of his favorite targets, the tight end Sean McEwen, and here comes that heavy set formation.
You can tell McEwen wanted to get to the end zone and take care of business, not allow another red zone tragedy like last time for the Wolverines. He fought as hard as he could, ends up coming about half the length of a football short of the end zone.
And Michigan, once again, that same heavy set formation. 3 tight ends, 2 fullbacks in the game. See if they go to Khalid Hill again. This time they go to Ben Mason, who's trying to fight for the end zone, and he's in. Touchdown! Touchdown, Ben Mason. Touchdown, Michigan.
Wow, what a push delivered by Khalid Hill. In a pile like that, you can push at the back of your man and push him through. You can't pull him through, and Khalid Hill, like a bulldozer, just shoves Ben Mason into the end zone. 3 for 3 now on the max jumbo formation is what I'm going to call it. It's beyond jumbo plus, maybe.
Jumbo plus, I like that name. That's what we're going to go with for that one. The Jumbo plus formation pays dividends yet again as Ben Mason gets his first career touchdown as a Michigan Wolverine. And now something that's been a little bit shaky as late. Quinn Nordine in for the extra point. Not ready to call it a tie game quite yet. He's missed 2 extra points on the season. The snap is good. The hold is good. And Nordine puts it right down the middle. So we're all tied up here at Camp Rando Stadium with 2:24 remaining in the first half of play. The score, Michigan 7, Wisconsin 7. And a big drive there put together by the Wolverines, 84 yards. They started out their own 16. A couple of big 3rd down pickups on the drive. And once again, exactly what you said, Daniel Thompson, going to the air, the big gain for Donovan Peoples-Jones, finding McEwen over the middle. Even Chris Evans was a little route out of the backfield to pick up the big 3rd down conversion. Then finishing off once again with that giant jumbo plus power play. Michigan offense looking like they might have found a little something to exploit this Wisconsin defense with.
And one thing to note, Michigan, even though it's a tie game, they've outgained Wisconsin by 100. It's 170 yards between on the air and in the ground. In fact, 133 passing yards for the Wolverines, 37 rushing for the Wolverines. To the Badgers, who have 40 yards passing, 52 rushing. The Wolverine offense has really outplayed the Badger offense so far, getting to the red zone twice, especially on a really long drive there. That'll go down in the books. It's like an 85-yard drive, I believe that was.
84. 7 plays, 84 yards, and just 3:34.
Oh, yeah, very quick drive. The Badgers have plenty of time, but not a hurry-up team by any means. They do a lot of pre-snap motion. You got to wonder what they're going to do here. 2:24 typically isn't enough time for Wisconsin to run their typical offense and get to the ends, but there's a good amount of time. They have all 3 timeouts, I believe.
And they were picking up chunk yardage last time with a couple of pass plays, Fumagalli, and it looked like they had a nice play over the middle to Davis, but that one was ended up being called back on that 3rd down. I thought it was a good grab But upon further review, it hit the ground. So we'll see if Wisconsin tries to go back to the air and maybe tries to get those young wide receivers involved.
Yeah, we've really seen two different Wisconsin offenses. With only 2.5 to play in the first half, I believe Wisconsin has only had three offensive drives. The first two, they were only able to pick up one first down the entire time, weren't too productive. But the last drive, they were really going. They had the one bad run where Maurice Hurst got into the backfield and then had a completion that looked good. It was overturned. We'll see which Wisconsin offense we get to start what might be the final drive of the first half.
Yeah, given these two teams from Penn State clock when they need to or really want to, you have to imagine, as you said, probably the last drive of the first half with just 2:24 remaining on the clock. We'll see where Wisconsin's going to start this one. It's James Fogel's going to kick off into the wind. Back to return for Wisconsin. Derek Tyndall, he's in the end zone. A little bit shorter is A.J. Taylor. James Fogel been so good this year at pinning opponents deep in their own territory as the ball now falls off the tee on this windy day in Madison, Wisconsin. It's warmed up a little bit, but not too much. Still everyone in their winter coats and winter hats. A lot of little puff balls on top of the hats, both the red and white, as well as a few maize and blue out in front of us here. As now the ball is set again, and James Fogel's ready to kick off. Lefty runs up and puts it in the air. He's going to pin Wisconsin deep right about at their goal line. It'll be fielded there by Tyndall. He's bringing it out to the right side, but it's absolutely met at the 14-yard line. Once again, Michigan coming through. Great job on the kickoff coverage there. Look, it might have been Jordan Glasgow. It was indeed the third of the famed Glasgow brothers to come through the University of Michigan over the past several years.
Yeah, the ball's placed right at the 15. It's going to be 85 yards to pay dirt for the Badgers. We'll have to see what the Michigan defense has left in them. They know that they're going to be coming back out to start the second half as well. Badgers will get the ball to start the half. If they could put in some points on the board right now and then add to them to start the second half, that would really be a great way for the Badgers to get going.
Badgers start out in the flex bone package Michigan saw with Air Force early in the year. Now comes out to 3 split to the right, 1 to the left. They fake the pitch to the left. Now go with a handoff up the middle there to Jonathan Taylor. He's going to rumble forward for about 3 or 4 yards. And Wisconsin looks like going to be their normal conservative selves here as the clock ticks down to about 2 minutes left.
And the Badgers have 2 timeouts to go. They're going to have to get either bigger gains or hurry up more. They're very much not a hurry-up offense. They huddle, they do pre-snap motion, they do everything. They're going to have to be quicker.
They come out now, I formation, 2 wide receivers, 1 to each side, 1 tight end to the right. Fullback Ostradamus was in motion there as the ball was snapped off to the right side. They hand off to Taylor going over the middle, but he is stuffed for 0 gain. Chase Winovich brought him down.
Now, Wolverines can't stop the clock, so if you throw an incompletion, you're going to give the Wolverines some time to do about a minute drill. So you got to wonder, maybe Wisconsin will strategically stay on the ground here so as to not give the Wolverines an opportunity for a short field and an early and quick points to end the half.
Regardless of what this play call is, Michigan will get the ball back with some time, whether it's about 15 seconds or whether it's a minute left. Wisconsin comes out 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Fumagalli now in motion from the left to the right. Hornibrook hands up the middle, going nice and conservative here. Keep the clock running. Jonathan Taylor. He's swallowed up after a gain of about 3 by Maurice Hurst and Devin Bush.
And wow, how much did the Wolverines regret having to call those 3 timeouts for delay of games, to prevent delay of games. That's going to cost them a full 40 seconds. Maybe 30, about 35 seconds. Peoples-Jones is around his own 35-yard line. He's not going to get this ball until about remain. You have to imagine he tries to return everything, really.
Michigan looking like they're going to try to send the house. I'd imagine the punt block play is out here. Whatever great punt block play Michigan has ready. Wisconsin punting. They got the ball thrown 22. Anthony Lottie back, takes the snap. Michigan sending a rush, not able to get through as Peoples-Jones going to field it at about his own 40. He might have a little room. Fields at his own 36, starts right, now comes back to the left, tries to make movement. Lots of Wisconsin Badgers there. He's going to have absolutely nothing. He's going to end up running out most of the clock by himself as he's tackled all the way back at his own 31-yard line.
Yeah, as he said, Peoples-Jones nearly ran out the entire remainder of the first half by himself. 6 seconds to go. Is there any chance the Wolverines don't take a knee here?
And I think it's your own 31-yard lead. Take it to half. Neither of these offenses built for high-powered action. Although we have seen Michigan able to hit a deep shot already with Donovan Peoples-Jones, they are going to come out looking like they are going to kneel. Yep, they are. Donovan Peoples-Jones back as the safe man as Peters goes under center and takes a knee. They'll run out the remaining 6 seconds on the clock. There it is. And we're going to head to halftime here at Camp Randall Stadium. That's about exactly what we expected. A low-scoring, hard-hitting affair here between Michigan and Wisconsin, all tied up at 7. And Daniel, what did you see in that first half that you can maybe expect some halftime adjustments from either team?
I think Wisconsin has to be a little bit nervous now. They saw 2 good drives back-to-back, one ended in a turnover for the Wolverine offense. They have to find a way to slow down the Michigan offense. Michigan has not had a whole lot of success running. As a team, Michigan's averaging 1.6 yards per carry, but they've gotten a lot of big chunk plays. Brandon Peters is 7 for 12, 133 yards. Wisconsin has to minimize the chunk plays and learn to find those chunk plays themselves if they want to stay in this game, because the punt return is what's keeping this game tied so far.
So that will do it here from the first half of action at Camp Randall Stadium. We'll be back in just about 17 minutes or so. With the second half of action, you'll hear Jeremy Parks and Will Yang on the call. Right now for Daniel Thompson, I'm Austin Felco. You're listening to WCBS Sports coverage of Michigan football. Once again, Wisconsin and Michigan tied up at 7 here after one half of action. For now, you can enjoy the sounds of Camp Randall during halftime.
Nice job, man. Work with $200. Okay, Stephen, let's see if you can double that. Ooh, just a bit short. All right, John, it's down to you. We've got $200 in the bank right now. Can you double it? Let's see what you got, John. Nice job, John. Looks like the Eckendorf family is going home with $400 towards Ben and Francis's college fund, courtesy of Gilbert. Thanks to the Eckendorf family for pleasing advantage of extra cash. And a special thanks to Gilbert's for their support of Wisconsin athletics. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now presenting their final appearance here at Camp Randall, University of Wisconsin marching band. Throughout the entire 2017 season, the University of Wisconsin has been celebrating the century-old legacy of Camp Randall Stadium, showcasing many of the special events associated with this historic structure. Part of all those activities for over 100 years with the Wisconsin band, inspiring school spirit and enthusiasm with a song that great John Philip Sousa once called the greatest of all college marching songs, on Wisconsin. Now, when the doors opened in 1917, the University band was smaller and band sounded like this. Fortunately, though, we're a little bit louder now. As the band grew in size and voice changed, influences from south of the border came, and it's the Latin American style. But our Wisconsin remains. as population changed, so the music performed in Madison. There was a definite movement towards more Slavic Russian style. Now, in the turn of the century, Scott Joplin may have conceived on Wisconsin as a lifetime masterpiece. By the 1960s, blues had evolved into rock and roll and then into soul. There was some funky sound turning into Randall. Now, some 30 years after the parade proposed its big march, the big bands dominated the big band style, and in those days, Camp Randall could swing. conclude our season with a camp rental tradition as we pay a tribute to the exceptional fans who bring pride, spirit, and enthusiasm to the stadium each and every Saturday. And as the season finale, we again say a special thank you to our amazing fans, but especially to our seniors for their unending commitment and dedication to Wisconsin. We never say goodbye, but simply, we'll see you next year, and on Wisconsin! And now, as we bring out the season with the sound of the Campus Carillon, we invite you to join us in singing one of Wisconsin's finest traditions, the singing of our time-honored varsity. Badger fans, be sure to stick around after the game for the third quarter presented by American Family Insurance. 27 Snowcraft rounds of rivals to get you back to the game here in the Sacramento forecast for as that game ends and as you're headed home. We're at the fifth quarter. Here we are. 29 degrees, northwest winds 15 to 30. You're feeling it out there. Winds are down in the 20s, and they'll remain in the 20s throughout fifth quarter. And on the drive home, we start to see a few breaks. It's temperature 36, but wind chills colder than that. Back to the game now. On Wisconsin, go Rocky.
Fans, it's time to watch your calendar. Sponsored by UW Credit Union. Tonight, the Mets hockey team faces Michigan. Face-off is at 7. Tickets are available at the Phoenix Center box office. Then on Monday, the basketball team takes on Southern. Kickoff is at 7. Save money and get a Culver's family 4-pack. Enjoy fan tickets, sodas, hot dogs, and Culver's for just $28. For more information on these events or to order tickets, visit UWBadgers.com. Following today's game, catch the Badger postgame show live from the set in Union South. You can get by us to 1310 WIPA AM or other affiliates on the Badger Sports Network. 1310 WIPA AM, Madison's home for the Badgers.
Welcome back inside Camp Randall Stadium here in Madison, Wisconsin for WCBN sports coverage of Michigan football. I'm Jeremy Parks alongside Will Yang out here in the elements at Camp Randall, just a few minutes away from the start of the second half. Before we get underway in the third, Michigan and Wisconsin tied at 7 apiece. Will, your thoughts on the first half from the Wolverines and the Badgers?
Yeah, Jeremy, this is a really exciting Big Ten matchup. Classic Big Ten football. And this game honestly has been going exactly how I thought it would go. And usually we begin the intro breaking down what does Michigan's offense have to do, what does Wisconsin's offense has to do, and the same for the defense. But really, these teams are identical. I don't think I've ever seen a game between two teams that are so identical. It's almost like watching one team play against another team in the mirror. The recipe for both teams is exactly the same. Both teams are teams that are used to dominating on the ground and dominating with defense. But right now, both teams have been able to stop each other's running attacks. Wisconsin's true freshman running back, Jonathan Taylor, has been a monster all season, averaging 7 yards per carry. And he has more than 1,500 yards in the game. But Michigan's defense so far has been doing a good job of stopping him. And same with Karan Higdon, who's really burst on the scene as Michigan's go-to running back over the past few weeks. But again, Wisconsin's been doing a great job limiting his success. Between two elite defenses, the offenses aren't going to move the ball on the ground like they're used to. So the difference in the game is going to be big plays, and that's what the winning team is going to need to win the game. They need to make big plays, and so far, each team has made two, starting with Wisconsin. The big kick return by Nick Nelson was a big play that swung the game and broke it open for Wisconsin to start. Michigan had, and then Wisconsin's second big play was a turnover on the goal line when Brandon Peters scrambled and the ball was poked out of his hand. That was Wisconsin's two big plays, and that was first one touchdown and stopped another Michigan touchdown. Michigan's two big plays were two deep shots that got them in the red zone. The first one was negated because of Wisconsin's turnover. The second one led to their second touchdown. So far, big plays are the reason that the score is tied 7-7. And the winner of this game is just going to have to make more big plays, because this is the kind of game where small chunk yardage is not going to get it done because of these two elite defenses.
The rushing totals from the first half, as you mentioned, Daniel, both teams pretty much stymied on the ground here in weather that you would think is conducive to rushing. Wisconsin held to just 59 total yards. Jonathan Taylor
9 carries for 45. So he has been relatively quiet for the Badgers. And Karan Higdon for the Wolverines, even more quiet. 6 carries for just 17 yards. Michigan only 36 total yards on the ground. Has Brandon Peters been to the offense today for the Wolverines? They've been hesitant to let him throw early on this season. First half, 7 of 12 for 133 yards. Brandon Peters for the Wolverines.
Yeah, exactly, Jeremy. Brandon Peters is the single most important player in this game. He's going to need to make more big throws. Wisconsin's front 7, front 8, whatever you call it, they're so aggressive at stopping the run that those play action shots are going to be open. There will be holes in the secondary, and Brandon Peters has been successful on a few, but he's got to hit more if Michigan's offense wants a chance to get them in this game.
All right, to set the scene for you, start of the third quarter here from Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, Wisconsin. The number 5 Wisconsin Badgers 7, the number 24 Wolverines 7 as well. The T, James Fogue, the kicker for Michigan, runs back to the 25, takes a jump. As he runs up, puts a leg through it, and we are back underway with Big Ten football on a cold November afternoon. Return is handled inside the 5-yard line, coming out towards the 20. Wrapped up and brought down is Derek Tyndall. That's where Wisconsin will have their first opportunity on offense here in the third quarter.
Yeah, on the second to last drive in the first half, Jonathan Taylor broke off a few big runs, and I expect Paul Chris and that's coaching staff to take a look at the film in the first half and see if they can get Jonathan Taylor some more space, because he's an elite running back and he can do a lot of damage in space if he can get to that second level.
Well, Alex Hornibrook nowhere near as effective as Brandon Peters in the first half, just 4 of 7 for 40 yards. We'll see how Wisconsin draws it up here to start. A lot of motion on the first play of the third quarter. The ball is spotted at the 20-yard line. Receiver in motion. It's a quick handoff. It's gathered by Taylor, who squirts forward through a hole on the right side, but he's wrapped up around the leg by Mike McCray and is brought down at the 23, a gain of 3 on first down.
Yeah, that was a good play by Aubrey Solomon, the nose tackle, holding up his blocker at the point of attack. It looked like Taylor had a hole to the right, but Mike McCray in that linebacker position did a good job of finding him and taking him down. If he didn't tackle him there, Taylor had a lot of space and a lot of room to go. So good play by both McCray and Solomon.
Badgers come back out with 2 tight ends, split receivers to the left and right, Taylor in the backfield. Now coming in motion is Kendrick Pryor to the right. Now Pryor comes back again to the left. It's a sweep handoff to Pryor as he goes left. Michigan has it snuffed out, though, and it's going to be a loss in the backfield, wrapped up by a combination of Rashawn Gary and David Long. It'll be a loss of 1 on the play, 3rd and 8.
Yeah, Kendrick Pryor is a small, speedy receiver that Wisconsin likes to use in those jet sweep situations. Xander Newville, the tight end, was out blocking on the perimeter of David Long, but David Long did a good job of fighting off that block and keeping contained and allowing his teammates to get to the ball.
Wisconsin just 1 of 6 on third down so far this afternoon. They have 3rd and long. 3 receivers to the right. The tight end, Fumo, in motion inside. Back, he's looking over the middle. Michigan's pass rush cannot get him, although he falls forward with pressure and finally brought down at the 20-yard line.
Perfect execution by Michigan's defense there. That's how they get you. Good job on first and second down, limiting Wisconsin's ability to gain ground, forcing them into a 3rd and long situation. Right there, that's when Dr. Blitz, Don Brown, Michigan's defensive coordinator, likes to bring heavy. Hornibrook just didn't really have time, and the sack was pretty inevitable at that point.
That'll bring up 4th and 9, and the punting unit, Anthony Lottie into punt for the Badgers. Donovan Peoples-Jones on the return. Josh Metellus close to blocking the punt. It's up and deep. Bounces at the 45-yard line. A healthy bounce for the Badgers as it rolls all the way down. They will spot it at the 38-yard line. Swapping field position with Michigan. That'll be a good spot to start for the Wolverines on their first offensive drive of the half. They looked great on their last offensive drive before going into the locker room. How impressive was Brandon Peters in the offense going into the tunnel?
Yeah, that was that when on their last scoring drive and the last drive of the first half, Brandon Peters was able to hit Donovan Peoples-Jones on a deep throw, and that was one of Michigan's 2 big plays that are allowing them to be in this game right now. Michigan, I expect them to stick to the run and establish the run, and that will open up the play action. On the defensive side of the ball, the recipe is the same as it was for Michigan's defense.
Wisconsin, another note here, tied for 2nd coming into today's game in time of total possession in the country. They average about 35 minutes a game of holding the ball.
A lot of that to do with their heavy running game with Jonathan Taylor. However, Michigan held the ball for 3 more minutes in the first half, then did Wisconsin at 17-14 as it stands right now. And Michigan will have an opportunity here from their own 38-yard line. 12:51 remaining in the third quarter, tied at 7 apiece between the Badgers and the Wolverines. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football.
Yeah, I can't stress enough how similarly built these two teams are. Wisconsin's front seven has been playing great all game and all season. Their two linebackers, Edwards and Connolly, are absolute beasts in the run game. Edwards has had a lot of big tackles. The way they stop the run is their defensive line has a lot of size on them. They hold up double teams, hold up blocks, and that gives their two middle linebackers, Edwards and Connolly, enough space to shoot the gap and stop the run. And these linebackers are so instinctual. They can sniff out the run, and they're so aggressive shooting those gaps. And so far, they've been extremely successful stopping Michigan's running game.
We'll see what Michigan comes out of the locker room with Tim Drevno, the offensive coordinator, and Pep Hamilton, the pass game coordinator. Again, the rushing attack for Michigan very slow to get going in the first half. Also a potential injury to Ty Isaac as he left early on in the first half as well. We have not seen him since, although he was able to walk off the field under his own power. We'll keep you posted. So far, 7 rushers for the Wolverines in total. There's even been some peppering of Kareem Walker in the game early on for Michigan. As we near the end of our media timeout, Michigan breaks their huddle as they come back to the line of scrimmage. Cesar Ruiz in the game at center. At guard, I should say. Patrick Kugler in at center.
Yeah, Ruiz is a guy who filled in for Michael Wendy, who started the season when he went down with an ankle injury, and Ruiz has stepped in and played well so far.
Michigan comes out in the eye. Kekoa Crawford in motion out to the left now wide. Peters looking to throw on first down. He's got a heck of a lot of space for Khalid Hill down the right. He catches it in space, crosses the Wisconsin 45-yard line, and out of bounds at the 40.
That's a huge play to start off Michigan's offensive drive. That was a breakdown in Wisconsin's coverage. No one for Khalid Hill coming out of the backfield. Peters knew to look for Hill, and he had a lot of wide green ahead of him on that play and puts Michigan into Wisconsin territory.
First down, Michigan. From Wisconsin's 40-yard line, they line up in the eye. Ben Mason in motion inside. It's a handoff to Kareem Walker as he tries to stutter step and look for a hole, but he has nothing doing as he's wrapped up in the backfield by Dakota Dixon.
Yeah, Dakota Dixon came in like a missile on that play. He was questionable coming into this game with an injury. He didn't start the game, but he's come in and played a lot. He's so key to this defense. He plays that strong safety position. He's small, but he's like a missile, and he can shoot the gap aggressively and stop the run.
No gain on the play. The ball still at the 40 for 2nd and 10. Walker checks out of the game. Karan Higdon checks in at tailback. Heavy set formation. 3 tight ends on the left side for the Wolverines. Peters drops back, looking over the middle. Flushed out of the pocket as he moves right. Crosses the 40 and out of bounds at about the 37-yard line.
Play by Peters. I really love his pocket awareness. That's something that we didn't get from John O'Corn, the quarterback who Peters took the job from. There wasn't anyone open, but he had enough wherewithal to know where he was in the pocket, know where the defense is coming, and scramble for 2 yards. And I know it's just 2 yards, but in a game like this, every inch counts. Brings up a 3rd and 8 for Michigan. Expect Wisconsin to bring a heavy blitz here and get after the quarterback.
Big 3rd and long. 6 men in the box for the Badgers. Now make it 7. Split receivers, wide left and right. Grant Perry, the slot receiver on the left. Perry coming across, and there's a flag down on the play as Peters is dropped in the backfield by TJ Edwards. We'll await the call.
Yeah, it looked like Wisconsin only brought 4 or 5 on the pass rush that time, and as a result, there wasn't anyone open for Peters to find, and they were able to beat their blocks and get to the quarterback. Great play by Wisconsin, but we'll see what the flag is.
Looks like the initial inclination is against the Wolverines. We will see as there is another motion here. And it will be a chop block on the offense against Patrick Kugler. And that will end the drive for the Wolverines with certainty now.
Yeah, Wisconsin looked like they declined the penalty, forced the 4th down, and Michigan's punting unit is coming on the field. Although I think chop block is a 25-yard penalty, so if Paul Chris wanted to win the field position battle, he would have accepted it. But I think he's comfortable with the 4th down after the sack, and Michigan is now set to punt this ball away.
Probably comfortable as well with his return man, Nick Nelson, the results of Wisconsin's only touchdown of the afternoon, a punt return back in the first half. Brad Robbins back to punt for the Wolverines. The snap is high, but Robbins able to handle it as he gets the punt away, a low line drive that bounces and captured inside the 15-yard line market at the 12, where fair catch is called for. Wisconsin will start there when we come back from the timeout here. 10:56 remaining in the third quarter. Michigan 7, Wisconsin 7.
Yeah, that was a line drive punt, and I think that Nelson should have let it go and bounced into the end zone because of the trajectory of the ball. It looked like it just could have gone through the back of the end zone for a touchback, and he ended up catching it at about the 12-yard line, so touchback would have made a huge difference in field position. I know that these are small things. I know it's special teams, but again, this game between two power teams, every inch counts, and there's very little margin for error. So I think these special teams differences will make a huge difference in this game. We've already seen special teams play an impact early in this game after Nelson returned the punt for a touchdown, his first touchdown of the year.
Wolverines are in the huddle. 3 and out in Wisconsin's first offensive drive of the second half. See what Don Brown comes up with here as Alex Hornibrook warms up on the sideline for the Badgers.
Yeah, and I think just the way this game's been going, Michigan's done a good job of stopping the Wisconsin running attack. Alex Hornibrook is going to have to step up and make some big throws. He had a few big throws on one of their promising drives. He hit Danny Davis the third on a deep throw to convert a third down, but it was dropped after review by Davis. I think Hornibrook has got to hit a few more big throws if Wisconsin's offense wants to get going. And if Hornibrook is able to make throws, this will also open up the running game and just open up Wisconsin's offense overall. But Michigan's done a good job of limiting big plays on defense.
Waiting the end of the media time here again. The great perk of non-commercial radio, you get Will Yang and I for the duration here. Again, 10:56 remaining in the third quarter. As the man in the red jacket down on the 20-yard line is the only thing keeping this game from moving forward with any kind of efficiency. The student section, however, is finally completely filled in for the Badgers. Different how they do it here at Camp Randall as opposed to Michigan. Michigan students are given assigned seats here at Camp Randall. There's a claim process in which you have to pick up your ticket the morning of the game, and then you are marched into a file. First come, first serve gets the lowest seat, so it fills all the way up vertically. Finally filled to the top row.
And also look for Troy Kumagali, the superstar tight end of Wisconsin, to get going. He's already had a few big catches in the game. He's one of the best tight ends, if not the best tight end in the country. And so far he's had a relatively quiet day, but look for Paul Chris to target him on this offensive drive.
Badgers finally come set. They've got a single receiver out to the right in the form of Kendrick Pryor. Bradrick Shaw in the backfield. Hornibrook looking to pass on first down. Michigan through the line like a dart. Wrapped up and sacked by Rashawn Gary, Mo Hurst, and Kalik Hudson. It's a three-man bum rush on Alex Hornibrook as he goes down. Sack on the opening play of the drive, 2nd and 15.
Yeah, that was just pure speed. The left side of Wisconsin's offensive line just got overwhelmed. Kalik Hudson came in from the Viper position. Viper's Don Brown's version of a hybrid linebacker, hybrid safety, and no one was blocked Hudson, and the three of them just got to Hornibrook in an instant.
From 2nd and 15, Wisconsin's in the eye. Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. Fakes the throw. Trapped in the end zone as Kalik Hudson wraps up Hornibrook and takes him down, but he is able to get the throw off in time to avoid the safety. Incomplete, and that'll be 3rd and 15. Again, Kalik Hudson causing trouble for Alex Hornibrook.
Yeah, that was a risky play call by Paul Chris. It looked like it was a fullback screen designed for Ramis, their fullback. But on a screen, you have to engage the defensive line and then let them go. On that play, Kalik Hudson went completely unblocked, and he shot him like a missile. And Hornibrook had no choice but to let it go without risking a safety. And now it's 3rd and long, and this is where Michigan's defense wants to be.
3rd and long, 2 receivers stacked on the right side for the Badgers. Tight end in motion. Hornibrook's looking to the right. Tries to find a quick out route, and he does. Complete, but stepping out of bounds just over the 10-yard line is A.J. Taylor, and that will be short of the first down marker by a good margin. They get back to about the original line of scrimmage, and that'll leave 4th and 11 with 10:04 remaining in the third quarter and ticking. It'll force another Wisconsin punt.
So that's 2 3 and out so far from Michigan's defense. And this is huge because the field position is starting to swing in Michigan's direction as we await the punt.
Anthony Lottie standing on the S in Wisconsin in his end zone. As he punts deep to Donovan Peoples-Jones, he will collect it inside Wisconsin territory. Dancing around a little bit, comes around the right. He has a couple of blockers, falls forward near the 40-yard line. Wisconsin fans looking for a block in the back call. They will not get it. And Donovan Peoples-Jones collects about 8 yards on the return, marked down at the 41-yard line of Wisconsin. 9:37 remaining in the third quarter. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football. Jeremy Parks alongside Will Yang.
Yeah, this is classic Big Ten football. Defenses have been dominating this game so far, and a lot of punts. This is classic Midwestern football in November. And in these kind of games, again, special teams is so important. Field position is so important. That's why Michigan's 2 3 and outs were so key, because now Michigan begins their drive in Wisconsin territory. And on that previous punt, Michigan, on earlier punts this game, they've tried to block it, but this time they sent a lot of guys back to coverage and block for Donovan Peoples-Jones. And as a result, Peoples-Jones had a little window, a little crease, and he was able to get about 5 yards on that punt return. And 5 yards can be the difference in a game like this. Michigan starting in Wisconsin territory. This is huge. Michigan's offense has to convert here, get any kinds of points on the board, because this is extremely good starting field position.
Points have been hard to come by in this game. Again, just 7 for each side. Michigan on the Wisconsin 41 to start the drive. Quinn Norden, Michigan's field goal kicker, has been a little shaky as of late, battling what Jim Harbaugh called rushing his kicks. His range probably limited even more so with the strong winds coming through the north side of the stadium here in Camp Randall, pushing into the face of the Wolverines, so they'll want to get as deep as they can into Wisconsin territory. Obviously trying to get a touchdown, but even in field goal range, probably needing to get down inside the 25-yard line to have any kind of a comfortable opportunity in the current conditions. As Will and I are also facing the current conditions out in the elements. Winds have peaked at about 25 miles an hour. They're a little bit lower at the moment. Temperature in the mid to high 30s at the moment. There was snow on the ground this morning in Madison. A real cold November afternoon. And like you said, Will, this is exactly what Big Ten football is all about.
Yeah, this is pure Big Ten football here in historic Camp Randall Stadium, which used to be a ground for Civil War training, and it's the place that Abraham Lincoln visited. So this is an iconic Big Ten stadium, an iconic place for football to be played, and it's a lot of great history and a lot of great Midwestern football.
The 4th oldest stadium in the country, Camp Randall. And a good historical tidbit from our color man, Will Yang. Now Michigan back on the line of scrimmage. They're going to line up with 2 receivers to the left to start their drive, with Karan Higdon in the backfield. Nate Shanley comes in motion from the slot, and flags will fly. I think it's going to be a false start against Michigan.
I think that could have been on the tight end, Tyrone Wheatley Jr.
We will await the call. It is false start. However, it's against Juwan Bushell-Beatty for the Wolverines on the line. And that will set the Wolverines back 5 yards before they can even get off the first play of the drive.
Yeah, a lot of miscommunications on Michigan's offense so far. We saw Jim Harbaugh waste multiple timeouts, struggling to get the play clock off, and a false start to begin the drive is not what you want, especially given Michigan's starting field position here. It's 1st and 15 for the Wolverines.
Now Michigan in the heavy set eye with the lone receiver out to the left, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Peters dropping back, looking to throw. He's got a lot of space over the left-hand side, targeting Zach Gentry into his hands and out. Pass incomplete. It was a well-spotted throw from Peters, who had good time to throw. Unable to complete the pass beyond the first down marker. Would have been good for about 17 yards, but instead it will stay at 2nd and 15.
Yeah, on that play, Michigan was definitely looking to take a shot deep downfield. They only sent 2 receivers on routes and had max protect to give Peters enough time. And Peters did a good job of trying to fit it into the window, but great coverage there by Joe Ferguson. Great technique to break up that pass.
2nd and 15 from the Wisconsin 46-yard line. Peters in the shotgun by himself. 3 receivers stacked on the right. 2 to the left. Drops back. Rolled around. Good pressure from Wisconsin. Peters still rolling. He tucks it, and he'll get back to about the line of scrimmage. Out of bounds at the 42-yard line.
Yeah, Ferguson, who I mentioned on that previous play with the pass breakup, they brought him on a blitz, and he had a free shot to Peters, but Peters did a nice nifty move to evade the pressure. But good coverage by Wisconsin. Although Peters had enough time, enough room to throw, there was no one open, so Peters had no choice but to tuck it down, and now Wisconsin has forced Michigan into a 3-and-long situation, and look for Wisconsin to bring heavy heat to get to the quarterback.
3rd and 11. Camp Randall on their feet. The noise is deafening. 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Peters alone in the backfield. He takes the snap, immediately looks to throw under pressure, batted away, incomplete by Leon Jacobs, the outside linebacker, and that'll end the Michigan drive early on in scary territory as they will punt into short field, 4th and 11 from the 42 of the Badgers.
Yeah, early in the second half, we saw Michigan with 2 3-and-outs to stop Wisconsin's offense. And here we saw 3-and-out from Wisconsin. They forced Michigan to a 3rd and long and brought pressure. On that play, they brought Dooley, the defensive end, on a stunt, and he was coming into Peters hot. Peters had no choice to get rid of the ball, and the ball was tipped, and it could have been an interception by Wisconsin. So Wisconsin's defense definitely got the win there. As Michigan punts the ball away. Nelson will call for a fair catch and let it bounce harmlessly out of bounds at the 9.
And that is exactly that, as Wisconsin, they're going to spot it at the 10, actually. And that's where Wisconsin will start their drive, deep in their own territory, trading field position back and forth with Michigan. Points, though, still hard to come by here in the 3rd quarter with 8:40 remaining. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football. Both teams have all 3 timeouts, which at this point in the 1st quarter was not true for Michigan back in the 1st half. They burned all 3 of their timeouts in the 1st quarter. Will, just the pains of a young offense?
Yeah, I think so. I think Jim Harbaugh brings a lot of experience from the NFL and brings a lot of complex schemes, a lot of complex motions and alignments to their offense. And I think that for a young team, exactly, Jeremy, one of the youngest teams in college football, it's a lot for them to pick up, a lot of sophisticated knowledge from Jim Harbaugh. And again, going back to the identity of both of these teams have pride themselves in defense and have been doing a good job of shutting down the opposing offenses in this half. And especially both of these defenses are defenses that bend but don't break. They sometimes give up small chunk yardages, but they've been very good at limiting big plays. So far, we've only seen 2 from each team in the 1st half, and I'd say there haven't been really any big plays in the 2nd half. So someone's got to break. It's 7-7 so far. We're about halfway through the 3rd quarter. Each team's been trying to plod along consistently, but the defenses have both been doing a good job of not giving up that big play yet. I think that's an adjustment that both coaches made in the locker room at halftime. But someone's got to make a big play because either of these teams are going to be able to move the ball consistently on elite defenses like we have here with Michigan and Wisconsin.
Well, this Wisconsin offense has been noted coming into this game as guilty of giving up a significant number of turnovers. You look even just at the quarterback, Alex Hornibrook, only 17 touchdown passes to 12 interceptions this season. He gave up 2 pick sixes to Josh Jackson of Iowa last weekend, and we will see how he comes out here, but Michigan could really do forcing a turnover.
Yeah, exactly. Hornibrook has 12 interceptions on the year, the highest interception rate in the Big Ten, but so far he's been playing well. He had a few nice throws downfield so far in the 1st half, but so far Paul Chris has been keeping it simple for his quarterback. A lot of short throws, and they can force these turnovers if they continue to get after the quarterback and make him make poor throws or quick decisions into the hands of a defensive back.
Out of the TV timeout, Wisconsin is set on their own 10-yard line. They've got a power formation. Fakes the handoff to Taylor. Hornibrook has time to throw. He's looking over the middle and intercepted! Devin Bush falling backwards with the grab. Just as we mentioned, Hornibrook gives up a lot of interceptions. That's number 13 on the season. And number 10 with the flying dreads, Devin Bush grabs it at the 30-yard line of Wisconsin.
Yeah, that was a great play by Devin Bush, one of the most athletic linebackers in the country, and he showed his athleticism, dropping deep back in coverage right across the middle. Hornibrook was trying to find his favorite target, Troy Fumagalli, but Devin Bush was standing on the spot, and he got the interception.
Threw into double coverage. Don Brown on the sideline literally tackled Devin Bush as he came back. That's a lot of love from Dr. Blitz, and Michigan's right back in business inside Wisconsin territory. deep. Mark it at the 29. Rolling right back into play as Michigan lines up with a lone receiver in the form of Donovan Peoples-Jones and an offset eye with Ben Mason, the fullback, and Kareem Walker, the tailback. Almost a encroachment penalty on Wisconsin. However, he gets back in time. It's going to be a delayed handoff around a sweep to Donovan Peoples-Jones. He's got some room as he crosses the 20, gets inside the red zone, down to the Wisconsin 17-yard line. A pickup of 12 on first down for Donovan Peoples-Jones, the young freshman out of Detroit Cass Tech High School.
Yeah, we mentioned at the beginning of the half, whichever team is going to have more big plays in this game is going to win this game. Right now, with that Devin Bush interception, Michigan now has 3 big plays to Wisconsin's 2. Michigan looks like it's in a very good position to blow the door open and take the lead, but their offense has to convert here.
First and 10, 8:05 left in the third quarter. Ball on the Wisconsin 17. A handoff to Walker as he is wrapped up in the backfield. A nice play by Wisconsin. The tackle made by Ryan Conley.
Yeah, Ryan Connolly, who I was mentioning earlier in the second half, so aggressive shooting that gap. For Walker on the edge, but Connolly just closed that space so quickly. That's what makes Wisconsin's run defense so great, is the aggression from their linebackers.
Kareem Walker, yardage in each of his carries, now 3 for -4 on the day. Michigan facing 2nd and 13. They show split receivers left and right. Crawford is on the left. Peters dropping back, looking to throw, has a check down over the middle instead, goes towards the end zone, batted away. Yeah, nice play made by Nick Nelson on the goal line, targeting A. McDoom for Michigan.
Yeah, great coverage there by Nelson, the transfer from Hawaii. McDoom really had nowhere to go. Nelson had it draped, and he was practically running the route for him.
Nelson sat out last season after transferring from the University of Hawaii. Has made quite the journey from Maryland out to Hawaii, now back, finding himself here in Madison. And now it's 3rd and 13 for the Wolverines. They need to get to the 7-yard line. They have 3 receivers bunched on the right. Chris Evans, the tailback. They hand off to Evans, and he falls forward, and that's a loss of 1 on the play. Michigan playing very conservatively there. It'll be 4th and 14. And that'll bring out Quinn Norden and the field goal unit.
Yeah, I don't really like that play call by Jim Harbaugh. I understand you want to be conservative. Don't do anything risky when you're in this part of the field, but I think you got to throw it on that play. Quinn Norden, who has struggled as of late, is on to kick this field goal.
He's 14 of 19 on the season. His long was 55 in the opener at Cowboy Stadium against Florida. This one is slated to be a 38-yarder. The hold is down. The kick is up. It is on the way. It's got the distance, and it is good. Quinn Norden knocks down from 38, and Michigan now in front by 3, 10-7, with 6:36 remaining in the third quarter. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football.
Yeah, that field goal was huge. I know that you're thinking, that's a failure. We had the ball this far. We wanted a touchdown, but 3 points is 3 points, and I think if you're Jim Harbaugh in a game of this magnitude, a game where defensive players have dominated. Defense has dominated the game. I think points are extremely hard to come by. You're happy with those 3 points. And it was all set up by that Devin Bush interception to swing the game in Michigan's favor, give them great starting field position. Wisconsin's defense did a good job of making up for Hornibrook's error, stopping Michigan from getting a touchdown there. But the field position from Bush's interception was too much, and Harbaugh was able to get 3. And now Michigan leads 10-7.
5 plays for 8 yards, capped off by a 39-yard field goal for Quinn Norden. And it all came off the interception by Devin Bush off the arm of Alex Hornibrook. And now the ball on the tee as Michigan set to kick off. James Fogue runs back to the 25, takes the jump, runs up, puts a leg through it, and back underway here at Camp Randall. Back to return is Derek Tyndall. He takes it just over his goal line. He's got a little bit of room, but he's pancaked just over the 20-yard line by Jamerick Woods, the freshman out of Florence, Alabama. And they will mark the ball at the 23-yard line.
A big hit there by Jamerick Woods, the true freshman. I think the coaches like him a lot. He's a hard-hitting safety, and he's earning their respect on special teams.
Now Wisconsin setting their huddle. Michigan coming out of theirs as well. Don Brown ecstatic on the last drive. The interception by Devin Bush. We'll see how much pressure the Wolverines decide to bring here. 7 men in the box. Heavy set formation for Wisconsin. Taylor, the lone tailback, and he is immediately wrapped up behind the line by a host of Wolverines. And again, splitting right through the offensive line is Rashawn Gary, Mike McCray, and company. And that'll be a loss of about 4.
Yeah, smart play by Chris sticking to the run. I thought Wisconsin has abandoned the run a bit too much to start off the second half, but great play there by Michigan's defensive line, especially Chase Winovich beat his man to the ball and eliminated that cutback lane that would have been open.
2nd and 14 from the 19. 2 receivers to the left for Wisconsin. Now coming in motion is Taylor as Hornibrook drops back, looking over the middle. Now he goes over the left-hand side, and a flag is thrown. It wouldn't have been catchable, but grabbing for the receiver was Tyree Cannell. They were targeting A.J. Taylor. It's probably going to be defensive holding, although the ball would have sailed out of bounds had he let him be.
I don't know about that. I think that could have been uncatchable, but either way, that's an error by Tyree Cannell. On that play, Hornibrook's first option was actually Danny Davis, the third on the left, but he was covered by David Long, nowhere to go. So Hornibrook went to his second option, which was to Taylor on the right. And he was just, that ball was just airmailed, and Cannell had no business touching him. But I guess the ref saw enough contact where he impeded the route, and that was enough to give, to merit the flag and continue Wisconsin's drive.
15-yard penalty, ball now at the Wisconsin 34. And again on first down, Hornibrook looking to throw, was targeting Fumagalli. He does not have him, and instead just decides to throw the ball out of bounds. He was being chased by Rashawn Gary.
Yeah, that play, Wisconsin was looking for someone downfield. They set Taylor and their 2 receivers and tight end in motion, and he was looking for Troy Fumagalli, who again is his favorite target, but Michigan knew this. They made adjustments after Fumagalli had a pretty big first half. They had both Kalik Hudson and Josh Matella shadowing the tight end and making sure that Hornibrook's first option was taken away.
2nd and 10. Again, Wisconsin showing some good motion before the play. They now split into two wide receivers out wide, left and right. They fake the handoff and again look to throw. Mo Hurst is through the line as he harasses Hornibrook, and he throws. I believe it is a completion out to the tailback, Taylor, and he was brought down behind the line. Might have gotten 1 yard back, actually, 3rd and 13.
Yeah, pretty smart play call by Paul Chris. Michigan's defense has been prone to giving up a lot of big plays on screens, but right there, they just did a good job of creating chaos on the line of scrimmage, bottling things up and getting in Hornibrook's face. And Jonathan Taylor was already sort of being tripped up as he caught the ball, so a win again by Michigan's defense. So far, Wisconsin has tried 2 screens, and Michigan has won both of those battles.
Big third down for the Wolverines, 3rd and 13. Wisconsin at their own 31. 2 receivers to the left and a tight end, and now the whistles blow. I believe we're going to have a timeout called on the field. It is a charge timeout for the Badgers. Their first of the half. They'll take a minute to talk this one over. With 4:59 remaining in the third quarter, Wolverines lead by 10. Or lead by 3, I should say, 10-7. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football. Jeremy Parks alongside Will Yang.
Yeah, I guess Wisconsin didn't like something they saw out there on the field, having to call a timeout here in the third quarter, which is something that Jim Harbaugh struggled with in the first quarter, burning 3 timeouts quickly. But here we are in a 3rd and 13 situation. This is, again, where Don Brown likes to have his defense in, stopping Wisconsin on 1st and 2nd down and keeping them off schedule. And now I think Don Brown will bring a lot of blitz, or at least pressure, if not technically bringing a blitz, but creating some sort of chaos in the backfield to get after the quarterback. And we'll see how Hornibrook responds. So far, he's already thrown an interception.
And again, it'll be 3rd and 13. Reset the scene. Wisconsin coming out of the timeout goes back to the same formation. Hornibrook will be in the gun. He's got the tight end Fumagalli now in close. 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Has plenty of time. Looking for the deep ball. His receiver's got a step, and he's got him. Down to the 30 and inside the 25-yard line. A huge pickup for the Badgers of A.J. Taylor. Down inside the red zone. A huge pickup on 3rd and 13 for Wisconsin.
A huge play by Hornibrook, especially after the interception. A big throw by the lefty. And Jalen Kelly Powell was the man who got beat. Wisconsin saw the mismatch, and he was able to hit his man Taylor for a big play. And now that's another big play for Wisconsin. It's 3-3 on a big play. And now Wisconsin is in the red zone, knocking on the doorstep.
1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. Kendrick Pryor in motion. It's going to be a toss play out to the right-hand side. Michigan has men. Wraps up Taylor. That'll be a loss of 3. 1-yard line by a couple of Wolverines, including Chase Winovich, the leader on that one. Taylor a little slow to get up, but he seems all right as he to the huddle.
Yeah, the run game really has not been going Wisconsin's way. On that play, they tried to change up a little bit, send their running back to the outside, but Michigan's defense is so athletic, so good at stringing out those plays, running sideline to sideline. Chase Winovich, who was the defensive end on that play, did a great job of keeping contained, and Taylor just had nowhere to go.
Forward press mark 19, so receiver with heavy pressure, throwing towards the end zone and incomplete. Bounds. Hornbrook targeting Danny Davis III, and he could not find him down the right sideline. Good pressure by the Wolverines as Mo Hurst was leading the way and brought down Hornbrook as he threw 3rd and 11.
Yeah, Mike McRae was coming in on a flare, and he had a wide open hole and a free shot to Hornbrook. Hornbrook smartly got the ball away in time to avoid the sack, but because of the pressure he was facing, he didn't have a good window to throw that ball to.
3rd and 11, 3:37 remaining in the third quarter. Wisconsin trying to get back into the game. They're down by 3. Hornbrook drops back, whistles blow, the play is dead. Penalty flags fly. It's going to be a false start penalty against the Badgers, and that'll push them back 5. We'll see who the penalty is on, but it'll be 3rd and 16 coming out of it.
This brings up.
And it's against the tight end, Troy Fumagalli. The senior out of Aurora, Illinois, the leading tight end for the Badgers, guilty of jumping a little bit early. And he pushes not only the Badgers back a little bit, but makes a potential field goal try a little bit more difficult as well, as the ball now rests on the 24-yard line.
Yeah, now Michigan faces yet another 3rd and long situation. Wisconsin beat that last time with a perfect throw by Alex Hornbrook on the sideline. But let's see what Michigan can up. Expect them to get after the quarterback here.
Dropping back, has time, flushed out of the pocket, looking towards the end zone, caught! Touchdown, Wisconsin! A.J. Taylor on the reception. Again on 3rd and long, the Wolverines give up the big pass play as it goes 24 yards to the house, and Wisconsin regains the lead 13-10 pending the extra point. Remaining in the 3rd.
Yeah, great play there by Alex Hornbrook. Michigan only brought 4 rushers, and the offensive line gave him enough room to throw. And he saw the miss on the inside receiver. Taylor was running a seam route in the slot, and he was covered by Kalik Hudson. But Hudson was giving him too much inside leverage, and Taylor just had a wide open window for Hornbrook to throw in. An easy pitch and catch for 6, and now the Badgers take the lead.
Rafael Gaglianoni out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, in for the extra point try. He's 47 of 47 on the year. Kick is up. It is good. 48 of 48. Badgers take the lead by 4, 14-10, 3:31 left in the third quarter. You're listening to WCBN Sports Coverage, Michigan Football. Jeremy Parks alongside Will Yang. Will, Michigan on 3rd and long twice in a row. Unable to make anything happen in Wisconsin, taking advantage of the secondary deep.
Yeah, and Michigan, they pride themselves in preventing the big plays here, but unfortunately for the Wolverines, Wisconsin was able to convert on a huge play on a 3rd and long situation. And Jalen Kelly Powell, the true freshman, who usually doesn't see a lot of playing time, was in on that play. And that's a rough situation to put yourself in, a true freshman. And he was matched up against Taylor, who was the big player of this series. And that big throw was what got Wisconsin into the red zone. And again, a great throw by Hornbrook, both on the deep ball and the touchdown, splitting the window between the Viper Hudson and the safety Johnson Tellis for a touchdown to find his receiver Taylor running up the seam.
Ball is on the tee for the kicker, Zach Hinsey. Back to return for Michigan, Brad Hawkins and Ambry Thomas. Kick is up, back underway here. This one's going to go into the end zone and bounce on the W of Wisconsin for a touchback. Michigan will start at the 25. Down by 4. A back and forth affair here. Points hard to come by. Both offenses having a little bit of a spark. Wisconsin scoring on a 24-yard touchdown pass. Michigan got 3 points on their last drive after an interception deep inside Wisconsin territory by Devin Bush. as Brandon Peters trots the offense back out onto the field, and they get set at the 25. Donovan Peoples-Jones is going to go wide right. Kiko Crawford is wide left. Offset eye with Higdon the tailback. On first down, fake handoff looking to throw as Peoples-Jones out in space. He collects it. Won't have a ton of room as he gets close to the 30-yard line. The 27, they'll call it a gain of 2.
Yeah, I've noticed so far in the second half that Michigan has been opening up the offense a little bit more and trusting Peters' arm a bit more than they have really all season. I think it's due to the success that Wisconsin had stopping the run. I think the adjustment they made, that Timber made in the half, that they're going to go with a lot more passing plays and try to open up this Wisconsin defense and keep the attack more balanced.
2nd and 8. Peters, hands off. Chugging up the middle is Higdon. He maybe gets 2. Stopped at the 30-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and 5, maybe 3rd and 6 for Michigan as we tick inside 3 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yeah, I know that was only a 2-yard gain, but this 3rd and 5 instead of a 3rd and long, which Michigan faced previously. The way that the play calling has gone in this half has been able to keep Michigan on schedule, get them 3rd and manageable. It takes a lot of pressure off of Peters when this Wisconsin defense likes to bring heavy heat on 3rd down.
Michigan 4th and 12 on 3rd down so far today. Peters will come alone in the gun. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Peters drops back, looking to throw, trying to find Chris Evans down the left sideline. Cannot find him, incomplete. Think he might have wanted a holding call against Ryan Conley down the left sideline. He will not get it. And Michigan will be 4th and 5, and now down on the field for Michigan, I believe, is Brandon Peters.
Yeah, that's not good for Michigan. Brandon Peters has had himself a really nice game today, making a lot of big throws to give points for Michigan. And on that play, they had Chris Evans motioned out on the far left against Connolly, the linebacker. And I think they're trying to exploit that mismatch there because Chris Evans is one of the better receiving backs on this team. But great coverage by Connolly. He has underrated athleticism. He was able to keep up with Evans stride for stride and force him to the sideline and force an incompletion. But right now, Brandon Peters is a lot more important for this Michigan team today and for the future.
Quarterback at the 20-yard line. It was off the play. I didn't see who hit him as he let the ball go. Going back to the last play, I definitely think there was a holding call that could have been justified down that near sideline for us against Ryan Conley. The intended receiver was Chris Evans, who had split out wide to the left right before the snap. Meanwhile, Michigan's quarterback has not left his back, curled up at the 20-yard line. Presumably, if he is unable to continue here, it'll be John O'Corn. Harbaugh stepping aside for a moment to talk to the officials, now comes back, standing over the medical staff with Brandon Peters. He is moving his arms, trying to see what exactly might be the ailment here. And again, as you said, Will, this would be a massive loss for the Wolverines here in a 4-point game late in the third quarter against the number 5 undefeated Wisconsin Badgers. They have already punched their ticket into the Big Ten championship game. If Michigan wants to maintain what slim hope they have of a Big Ten championship game berth, they need a win here this afternoon. And it looked like Brandon Peters might have been the quarterback to lead them there, but based off of how long he has been on the ground, I am not sure that he'll be able to come back into the game.
Yeah, this looks pretty serious, and this is just really unfortunate for the young true freshman from Avon, redshirt freshman from Avon, Indiana. He has a lot of talent, and I think the reason he didn't start the season was just because he had some growing pains learning the offense. But so far, he's just been getting better week in and week out, and Jim Harbaugh has trusted him more to make throws as his early college career has progressed, and he's made a lot of big throws tonight. Just a really bad, unfortunate blow for Peters.
They are going to finally set him up as he sits up. He is still on his backside, but his back is up, seated, looking forward, talking to Jim Harbaugh. Not sure still where the injury is on the Michigan quarterback, sitting right at the 20-yard line. The Michigan drive did end on that play, though. It's 4th and 5, regardless of how this turns out for Michigan. 2:13 is left in the third quarter. Wisconsin leads 14-10.
Yeah, this could be a big momentum changer. Wisconsin's defense doing a good job of, again, getting off the field. Wisconsin's defense has been great all game, given the only points they've really given up were from short fields. They did give up one play to Donovan Peoples-Jones in the first half, and right now they're bringing the card out, so this must be a pretty serious injury for Peters.
Yep. You would guess something to do with the lower extremity. According to Twitter, it looked like apparently the hit, and again, this is Michigan Twitter, take it with a grain of salt. Reportedly, the hit excessive and unnecessary. Although they have not shown a replay here at Camp Randall, we do not have access to a screen. Apparently, it was a driving into the ground. As Peters now gets up gingerly on his legs, and he is loaded onto the cart, presumably done for the game. A smattering of applause from the Badger fans here at Camp Randall. The entire Michigan team, with the exception of the defense, standing around the cart to see off their quarterback. Into the cold November afternoon will drive Michigan's hope in Brandon Peters.
I think the backup quarterback will likely be John O'Cord, who does have a lot of experience starting games for Michigan.
Indeed, he does. Coming into this game, O'Corn 64 of 116, 742 yards. However, he's only thrown for one touchdown pass after coming in for the injured Wilton Spate. Peters is now heading towards the tunnel. The cart stops before going inside. And Michigan's punting unit is out on the field with Brad Robbins. Back to return for the Badgers is Nick Nelson. The punt is up, nearly blocked by Wisconsin, as it will go out of bounds. I think it's going to be a very short punt after the spot. The referee still walking up the field. Marked out of bounds at the Wisconsin 39-yard line. Good field position to start for Alex Hornibrook and the Badgers. And we just want to wish the best to Brandon Peters as he exits the stadium now deep into the tunnels of Camp Randall. Michigan now in a sticky situation when they are able to come back on offense. But first, it'll be the Michigan defense with Don Brown trying to send the Badgers packing on this drive. They start at their own 39-yard line with 2:06 remaining in the third.
Yeah, Michigan's defense did, Hornibrook on the last drive did a good job of exploiting some mismatches in Michigan's secondary.
Heavy set for the Badgers. They have Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. And on first down, they hand off to Taylor. He's got a big hole around the left side. He gets about 5 yards, still unable to bring him down as he squirts across the 45-yard line out of bounds at the 46-yard line. And that'll be a pickup of 7. It'll be 2nd and 3 for the star freshman running back for the red and white Wisconsin Badgers.
Yeah, on that play, Wisconsin's offensive line opened a gaping hole for Taylor to run through, and great play by Tyree Cannell, the safety, to stop that, because if he was able to get past Cannell, he could have been looking at 6 there.
Spooners left and right for Wisconsin. A handoff again to Taylor. He's got huge room, crosses the 45-yard line, and he might go down at the 30-yard line. Flags fly on the play. This one could be coming back.
Yeah, that's going to be a holding on Devin Bush. Devin Bush was sliding to the left, and he was about to make the tackle, but he was held as Taylor went to the second level. So this play is definitely coming back. I saw a clear hold on Devin Bush.
Call here in just a moment. The run did get all the way down the line, and now the players walk back. It is holding against Tyler Biotish, the center for Wisconsin. He was injured coming into this game, but he has been playing with a left leg ailment. Gives up the penalty, and that will push Wisconsin back. And a very clear hold, as you said, on Devin Bush. He would have had the running back Taylor wrapped up at about midfield. It still would have been enough for a first down, but instead, it'll come back 2nd and 8 now for the Badgers after the penalty.
Lucky break for Michigan there, because that was already a good run by Taylor. They didn't need the hold. Wisconsin looked like it was about to gain some momentum after those first 2 runs, but now they're backed up 2nd and 8 here.
Taylor and Davis, the receivers to the left. Hornibrook looking to throw. He's going deep. And he has a man incomplete. Badger fans want pass interference. It was good coverage from Brandon Watson down the left sideline. The target was Danny Davis III.
Yeah, no, that was great coverage by Brandon Watson. He coming in for the injured Lavert Hill. He ran hip for hip with Davis III there, took away the sideline. Davis made a great effort there trying to make a one-handed catch, but
as they show the replay here at Camp Randall, no requests for pass interference on that. It was very good coverage for Brandon Watson.
Yeah, Watson was hip for hip with him, practically ran the route for him, and a great job to break that ball up. Now 3rd and 8 here for the Badgers.
3rd and 8. Third down has been a sweet spot here in the third quarter for Wisconsin. Brooks looking to throw, going again deep down the right-hand side, and he has Danny Davis.
Yeah, there should have been a hold on Rashawn Gary, who was coming in on a stunt, but the rest missed that one. Great coverage again by Brandon Watson, but an even better individual effort by Danny Davis, the third, climbing the ladder, making that play to bring Wisconsin again into Michigan territory.
All the way down to the Michigan 32. A big pass play for 27 yards for the Badgers, and Michigan, for the third time in a row on 3rd and long, gets burned deep. Don Brown on the sideline, furious with his defense. And now Wisconsin threatening to add on to their 4-point lead. 38 seconds remaining in the third quarter and ticking down. Fakes the pitch, and it's a handoff to Kendrick Pryor, and he's got room on the left-hand side. He could go all the way, the 10, the 5, touchdown Badgers.
Yeah, that was great misdirection by Wisconsin. They brought their left tackle and their left guard out on the left, and Michigan's defense was flowing to the right with the fake handoff. So Wisconsin had 2 defensive linemen against David Long, quarterback, and a safety, and they were just and Josh Metellus, a safety, who are no match for the pulling Wisconsin linemen. And I think was it Pryor on that?
It was Kendrick Pryor who had the jet sweep on the fake pitch, got all the way around the left-hand side, beat the Michigan secondary, and took it to the house. Now Rafael Gaglione on for the extra point. It's up, and it is good. Wisconsin leads by 11, 21-10, with 24 seconds remaining in the third quarter. WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football.
Really great creative play calling by Chris there. It was 2-on-2, 2 offensive linemen against David Long and Josh Metellus, 2 Michigan defensive backs. It was just a pure mismatch, and Pryor could just waltz in the end zone. 32
yards to the house for Pryor, caps off a 5-play, 61-yard drive. And again, it all stems off of Michigan unable to stop the Badgers on 3rd and 8, back deep in Wisconsin territory, when they completed the big pass out to Danny Davis, and that got them into position. And the touchdown run now puts the Badgers up 11, and Michigan, when they come back on offense, will likely have to have John O'Korn come in at quarterback, trying to lead this offense to a comeback. Hinsey back to kick for the Badgers, as he puts a leg through it and it flies deep. This one will again go through the back of the end zone with the wind behind it. And Michigan will start at their own 25-yard line. 24 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
Yeah, and Wisconsin's leading by 11 now. They sort of opened the gates as we're drawing near the end of the third quarter. But I mentioned the symmetry between both of these teams, but Wisconsin's been able to break the symmetry in the third quarter because their quarterback, Alex Hornibrook, has been able to make throws deep downfield on 3rd down. Both defenses have been stopping teams on 3rd down, but Hornibrook's been able to break the symmetry with his conversion. 1st
and 10 for Michigan at the 25. I formation. O'Korn fakes the handoff, looking to throw inside. It's tipped, caught by Peoples-Jones, and he will get across the 35-yard line. Good for a first down. Completion made off the tip pass from the arm of John O'Korn.
Yeah, good throw by O'Korn to move the chains to start this drive. Looks like they're going to let this tick down into the fourth quarter. But like I was saying before this, that both defenses have been forcing the opposing offenses into 3rd and long situation. That's how the defense has been dominating this game in the first half. But Hornibrook was able to break this trend by converting with big throws on 3rd down to bring some life to this offense.
We go to the fourth quarter with Wisconsin leading 1-10. Will, I'm going to turn down our mics, turn up the natural mics, because the one reason that I wanted to come to Camp Randall for this game was to see the jump around at the start of the fourth quarter. About to feel the stadium shake as soon as they start the song. So I'm going to turn us down. We'll be back in just a moment. This is the world famous Camp Randall Jump Around. WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football.
Featuring 4 tickets and $40 in concession. Quarter visit UWBadgers.com. Wisconsin basketball, forever forward. For the best selection of Wisconsin Badger apparel and gifts, shop PuppysLockerRoom.com. For men, women, and children, to accessories and collectibles, items for your home and office, PuppysLockerRoom.com is something for every Badger fan. Shop this weekend and enjoy 25% off your order of $50 or more. PuppysLockerRoom.com, the official online store of Wisconsin Athletics. The University of Wisconsin salutes our guests from the American Family Children's Hospital, seated today on the Puppies Locker Room patio. We welcome these patients and their families to today's game. Our special thanks to American Family Insurance for their support of Wisconsin Athletics.
Well, that was really something. Physically shaking our press box was the Wisconsin student section in the entirety of Camp Randall Stadium for the traditional jump around to signal the start of the fourth quarter. Pretty cool, Will.
Yeah, another iconic tradition in an iconic stadium in the Big Ten. It's a Midwestern classic football.
1st and 10 for the Wolverines with John O'Corn as we get underway in the fourth quarter. Michigan looking to come back. They're down 11. Nate Shanley is in motion. He comes inside. He's got a nice hole on the right. He crossed the 45-yard line, falling forward for first down yardage. Ball will be marked perhaps a half-yard shy of the first down. Actually, his fall forward, I think his knee might have been down as the ball was extending across the marker, so it'll be 2nd and half a yard for the Wolverines. A nice carry by Higdon up the right.
Yeah, impressive run. That was actually Chris Evans, the much smaller and sneakier running back there. And the offensive line was able to give him enough holes for him to squeeze by, and now it's 2nd and short for the Wolverine offense.
John O'Corn under center, Karan Higdon in the backfield. Both McCune and Gentry in at tight end. Henry Poggi open on the left-hand side, but goes over the middle to, oh boy, Zach Gentry, who had it in his hands at the 40-yard line and took a massive pop from Dakota Dixon as he dropped what would have been a nice completion for about 10. And instead, it's 3rd and half a yard.
A big hit by Dixon there. Usually he's more of a strong safety like him in the box, but there he's playing more of a deep cover 2 concept And a very good throw by O'Corn also, but a big hit by the small, strong safety, Dakota Dixon, there to break it up. And now Michigan comes out in its heavy formation.
Big eye. 3 men behind O'Corn under center. Michigan needs the tight end McCune now to the right. Koji the fullback, Higdon the tailback, no Chris Evans as Evans gets it, gets first down yardage and crosses midfield down to the Wisconsin 49-yard line. And that will be a nice pickup for Michigan as they're into Wisconsin territory with 14:09 remaining in the game.
Yeah, on that play they brought number 82, Steven Spinellis, an extra offensive lineman into the formation. And just with so much beef up front, they were able to move Wisconsin back. And Chris Evans had very easy hole to squirt by into to pick up the first.
1st and 10. Kekoa Crawford goes wide left. Peoples-Jones wide right. Higdon checks in at tailback. O'Corn dropping back, looking to throw. He's going over the right-hand side for Peoples-Jones, who's in double coverage, and that ball is overthrown and incomplete by a good margin.
Yeah, Tyndall was the corner on the coverage there, and he had Peoples-Jones beat for a step. And O'Corn, the safety was there to help out. O'Corn should not have thrown that ball into double coverage. I think this Wisconsin defense has been beat by Peoples-Jones deep enough. They have made the adjustments, and right there, they were able to cover that go route pretty successfully.
It'll be 2nd and 10. Something I thought, Will, was that Michigan might try and go deep a few times. We've seen already today that Wisconsin's secondary is pretty physical, trying to draw some PI penalties downfield. Nonetheless, 2nd and 10. Grant Perry is out wide to the right, 2 receivers to the left for Michigan. Sean McCune, the tight end, in motion as he goes into block. O'Corn has plenty of time as he goes over the middle, trying to find Peoples-Jones, who cannot hang on to it, incomplete at the 45-yard line. And that'll leave 3rd and 10 broken up by TJ Edwards, who has had himself a day at linebacker for the Badgers.
Yeah, TJ Edwards has been a beast all game for Wisconsin, making a lot of tackles in the backfield in the first half. He's also athletic, probably the most athletic player on this team. He was stepping back into coverage, breaking up that pass by Donovan Peoples-Jones. And it's 3rd and long here, 3rd and 10, and the fans of Camp Randall are on their feet, and this place is rocking.
And there will now be a signal for timeout, I believe, on the field, as it will be a charge timeout for the Wolverines. They'll think about how they want to attack this 3rd and 10. It'll be a short timeout. 13:34 remaining in the game. Michigan down 11, but they are just creeping into Wisconsin territory at the Badger 49. Wisconsin, on their last 3 3rd and longs, have come up with 3 big pass plays, including a nice one that set up an eventual touchdown run on the end of their last drive. Michigan looking for a little bit of the same magic.
Yeah, and again, I was saying Wisconsin was able to break the symmetry that we've been experiencing for most of the 3rd quarter with Alex Hornibrook's ability to convert on 3rd and long, finding his receivers deep. Because Michigan was bringing pretty heavy pressure on that. But Hornibrook was able to stand tall in the pocket and deliver on those previous. Now John O'Corn has to do the same. He has to be able to stand tall in the pocket because Wisconsin is going to bring a lot at him. I think that, the backup quarterback's in 3rd and 10. This is definitely a situation where Wisconsin will bring heat. I think that expect a lot of crosses and a lot of stunts on this blitz. And Connolly, it was one of Wisconsin's linebacker. I think he'll bring him and TJ Edwards and maybe even a player from the secondary in because they're going to try to bring as much as they can here on John O'Corn on this 3rd down.
Still in the timeout now, turned into a full media timeout. It'll be 3rd and 10 for Michigan. They really need this one. Could use some points to get some momentum back their way and even give a little confidence to John O'Corn, who was basically spurned out of a starting job. It was Wilton Spates to begin the year. Spate went down in the Purdue game. O'Corn came in all the way to the finish line, was his hope, and he was replaced by Brandon Peters a few weeks ago. Peters had been the man Michigan fans had been waiting for quite a while, but now Peters out with an undisclosed injury as he was carted off the field. And O'Corn looking to regain the confidence of the Michigan faithful, and he could do exactly that. He could be nothing short of a deity if he's able to figure out how to get Michigan back into this game down 11.
Yeah, another player to watch here in this situation is number 17, Andrew Van Ginkel. Wisconsin likes to bring him off the bench for obvious passing downs. He's their pass rush specialist, and he's lined against Juan Bushelmady, the right tackle.
Donovan Peoples-Jones, the lone receiver to the right. Eddie McDougall over to the left. Zach Gentry, the tight end. Khalid Hill, the fullback. Karan Higdon, the tailback. Fake the pass coming around. O'Korn escaping the pressure, and he is going to be hit as he throws, and he goes down, incomplete. It'll be 4th and 10.
Yeah, so on that play, they brought Natrell Jason, the safety, in to a safety blitz, and he came in hot, and O'Korn had to deal with him and get rid of him. And as a result, Ryan Connolly was able to beat his man and take down O'Korn and force the 4th down.
That'll bring Brad Robbins into punt for Michigan. Nick Nelson standing on his own 10-yard line awaiting the return. Robbins takes the snap, puts a leg through it. It's going to be deep, and he waves for fair catch. The ball bounces at the 5-yard line. A nice bounce for Michigan, and they down it at about the 5-yard line. It rolls eventually back to the 2, but they will say it was down at the 5. Make it the 6, and Wisconsin will start deep in their own territory with 13-17 remaining in the 4th quarter. Wisconsin 21, Michigan 10. WCBN sports coverage of Michigan football. Jeremy Parks alongside Will Yang.
Left in this game. This game is not over. Michigan definitely has a chance. Down 11. It's a 2-possession game. Great punt there by Robbins to pin Wisconsin on its own 6-yard line. Michigan needs to fix the problems they've had on defense, especially in the secondary, and force a 3-and-out here and continue to win that field position battle to give Michigan's offense a chance to score. Definitely an uphill battle for Michigan with their starting quarterback out and John O'Korn, who has struggled all season in these types of situations. But now, after being benched 3 weeks earlier against Rutgers, this is John O'Korn's time to prove to himself and the coaching staff that he can also play.
Well, Michigan's defense will have to stop Wisconsin from putting any more points on the board before they can go back on offense. Alex Hornibrook has thrown 1 interception on the day. His overall stat line, 9 of 17 for 143 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Meanwhile, John O'Korn now 1 for 5 for 11 yards. Brandon Peters had been cruising for Michigan. He had thrown a few incompletes prior to for 157 yards, which is light years better than the quarterback play has been all season for the Maize and Blue. Michigan could really do again with a turnover deep in Wisconsin territory.
It's entirely possible. Hornibrook last week against Iowa threw 3 interceptions and 2 pick-sixes. And a big turnover could swing Michigan back into this game.
A win for Wisconsin would really give some credence to the argument that they have not played tough competition at all this season. Again, their only ranked win coming against the Iowa Hawkeyes last weekend. Beating the Wolverines would be a big plus for them to get not only a little bit of recognition in the college football playoff talk, but also give them some respect going into the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah, I think the best team that Wisconsin has faced all year, and I think Wisconsin brings a classic Big Ten identity to the college football playoffs if the committee decides to let them into the Final Four.
1st and 10 for the Badgers from the 6. Full spread line offense for Wisconsin. They hand off to Taylor on 3rd down. He's met right at the 6-yard line. Might have gotten half a yard. Tackle made by Chase Winovich on the play.
Yeah, Winovich has quietly been having himself a really good game. And this play, he shed his blocker and got into the hole and just destroyed Jonathan Taylor.
2nd and 9. A tick under 13 minutes here in the 4th quarter. Michigan has 2 timeouts. Wisconsin has 2 timeouts left on the board. Wisconsin up 11. Stack to the right, lone receiver to the left. The tight end Fugali in motion. They hand off to Taylor again, and again he has initial contact at the line, but pushes forward across the 10-yard line where he is stopped. They will mark him down at 11, and it will leave 3rd and mid-range for the Badgers, about 3rd and 5.
Yeah, Wisconsin staying true to the run there. But Michigan's defensive line did a good job of staying in their gaps and closing off the cutback lane that was there for a split second, but they closed that pretty quickly. Now it's a 3rd and 4 here, definitely manageable for Hornibrook, but Michigan's defense needs to get off the field. Down 2 scores, they need to get the ball back into their offense's hands.
If they're able to stop Wisconsin here, it would also mean pretty good field position off the punt, assuming that is how this plays out. 2 receivers to the right for the Badgers. Back looking to throw. Michigan brings pressure. The pass is incomplete. Missed Fumagalli by a good margin, and a late flag is thrown.
That flag should not be thrown. I think there was certainly some contact by Josh Metellus on there, but the ball was very much overthrown, and that kind of contact, that's just physical foul. That's not holding or interference. Metellus grabbed.
Catchable, but we'll see the referee follow through. A pass interference. It's going to be a spot foul and an automatic first down for the Badgers. Spot the ball at the Wisconsin 19-yard line. Michigan would have had to stop. It was a throw from Hornibrook, who was under pressure. And again, a nightmarish second half for the Wolverines continues to bear on.
Yeah, that was a bad call. That teaches your players doing coverage, just the hand behind their and break it up.
Hornibrook is looking to throw. Good pressure around the right edge by Khalid Hudson on first down as the ball goes out of bounds. Michigan fans are looking for a grounding call. They will say there's no intentional grounding because there was a receiver in the area, although the ball flew 30 yards over the playing surface and out of bounds into the stands.
Yeah, so that's the second consecutive mistake the refs have made on this, because sure, the fullback Ramish was in the area, but like Jeremy said, the ball was about 100 feet over his head. But it's 2nd and 10 now as Wisconsin looks to continue its drive.
2 left in the 4th quarter. Michigan's defense trying to get off the field desperately. Hornibrook hands off to Taylor. Taylor has a huge hole. He crosses the 20, crosses the 30. He could be gone. The only man to stop him would be Metellus at the 40-yard line, and he finally steps out of bounds. Jonathan Taylor, the stud freshman with the biggest run of the afternoon. He's all the way down to the Michigan 34-yard line. And again, Will, just an awful, awful second half for the Maize and Blue.
Yeah, big run by Jonathan Taylor. He's been having himself a quiet game all day, but he finally broke one. And he's a classic Big Ten running back. He fits Wisconsin's scheme exactly. And Paul Chris loves this kid. And true freshman broke one off. He showed he has the breakaway speed and the patience to hit the hole. I think he's ahead of his years as a running back. He's going to have a lot more great years here at Wisconsin and in the Big Ten.
11 minutes left in the game. For first down, Hornibrook is back looking to pass. Khalid Hudson has him wrapped up, and he's down all the way back at the Michigan 49-yard line. They're going to say his knee hit, I believe, at the 47, but he was sitting right on the W at midfield.
Wow, what an individual effort by Khalid Hudson. Again, coming from that Viper position, setting the edge and blitzing, and no one really picked him up there. And after a big offensive play to bring Wisconsin to Michigan's 44-yard line, a big sack by Khalid Hudson to bring Wisconsin back to midfield and out of field goal range.
2nd and 22. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Fumagalli in motion to the right. Fake handoff, and again Khalid Hudson with pressure. And again he shoves Hornibrook as he throws an incomplete pass. And it'll be 3rd and a country mile, 3rd and 22, just what Michigan needed. But again, the last several 3rd and long opportunities for Wisconsin, they have gone to the pass deep, and they have found receivers. Michigan's secondary absolutely has to lock down here with 10:16 to play.
Yeah, and that's 2 consecutive plays where Khalid Hudson has been living in the backfield. He's essentially been untouched. I think Wisconsin has to figure out a way to stop him. But like Jeremy said, Wisconsin has been able to convert on these 3rd and long situations. Right now, David Long and Brandon Watson are the cornerbacks in the game, and they have to be locked here for Wisconsin to get up, for Michigan to get off the field.
Hornibrook is looking to pass on 3rd down. He's flushed out of the pocket, has a little bit of room. It won't be enough for the first down. Diving in, they'll mark him down right at the 40. Dangerous tackle by Michigan later on the play, coming in close. Again, quarterbacks, as they slide down, are defenseless. You cannot touch them. And nearly a helmet-to-helmet contact was avoided by Tyree Cannell. Or 4th and 16, I should say, and they will be punting into short field.
Yeah, good job of Michigan's defense to get off the field. They do lose that field position advantage.
Donovan Peoples-Jones standing on the 10-yard line. punter for the Badgers. 9:35 and ticking in the fourth. Snaps a little high and a little slow, but he gets it up. A flag is on the play. Fair catch called for by Peoples-Jones at the 14. We'll see what the penalty is. Will, did you see anything there?
I think they could have been holding on the punt. I didn't see anything clear.
That would be very beneficial for Michigan if that is the case. They could also make Wisconsin punt again. And it is against the Badgers. We'll see what Jim Harbaugh decides to do. Michigan elects to take the 10 yards added on to the end of the kick. Penalty for Wisconsin. We'll move Michigan a little bit further up. And it will officially be spotted at the 24-yard line of the Wolverines. They are down 11, 9:25 to play in the fourth quarter. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football. Jim Parks alongside Will Yang.
Yeah, the penalty brings Michigan to the 24-yard line, but they still have to go the length of the field here if they want to score.
Wisconsin fans pretty happy here with the score of the Miami-Virginia game, 31-28. The Virginia Hokies, look here, the Commodores, or I forget, what's Virginia? Cavaliers? Cavaliers, yes. Hokies is Virginia Tech.
And the Commodores is Vanderbilt.
And Commodores Vanderbilt in the right area, but the Cavaliers looking to upset the number 3 Miami Hurricanes, and they are up by just 3 late into the fourth quarter. A loss for Miami would almost certainly project Wisconsin into the college football playoff Final Four with a victory.
Yeah, and I think Wisconsin just had an impressive outing overall today, limiting with Michigan to 10 points. I think they're definitely making a strong case for themselves to be in the playoffs.
9:25 on the clock. Michigan in the huddle as we await the end of the TV timeout. Will, where do you go if you are the Michigan offense right now? John O'Korn seemed to be putting some throws on the money, just a little bit unlucky so far in his relief appearance. Do you continue to go to the air? Do you put it on the ground, which has been extremely slow? Michigan 33 carries for just 58 yards.
Yeah, so there's 9 minutes left. Michigan needs to string some plays together, some big plays. You don't necessarily need a big, huge play, but you need to move the ball downfield with some urgency at this point in the game. And Jeremy, yeah, you said it. You're right. John O'Korn has had some pretty open, good looks, and he's hit them, but they've gone incomplete because of great individual efforts by Wisconsin's defense. And they have a lot of athletes on this defense, a lot of grit, and they've been doing a good job of preventing Michigan from stringing a drive together. But I think you can't abandon the run completely. You have to keep this Wisconsin defense honest. But if Michigan wants a chance to win this game, they need O'Korn to make some plays with his arm.
Wolverines trot back out to the field as they break the huddle and come to the line of scrimmage, which stands at the Michigan 24. They need to go 76 yards to get back within a score. O'Korn is under center. 2 receivers to his left. On first down, he fakes the handoff to Evans, looking to go right over the middle. He's got an open Sean McCune who can't hang on. Would have had it at about midfield. He was wide open, but he was twisting as he tried to make the catch and could not haul it in. Incomplete.
Yeah, you got to make that. You got to make that catch if you're Sean McCune. O'Korn put it right on the money. I know O'Korn has had some issues with accuracy, but that throw is perfect. It hit him in both hands, right in the window, right in the soft spot in Wisconsin's zone. You got to make that catch if you're McCune and award your quarterback for a great read and a great throw.
Now Kekoa Crawford, the lone receiver, to the left on 2nd and 10. Evans in the backfield for Michigan. They hand it off to Evans. Nowhere to go, and he's going to be wrapped up in the backfield by T.J. Edwards.
Yeah, that play was really made by Ryan Connolly. He beat his man McCune, who was trying to block him out. Evans made a bad cut and ran right into Connolly, but still, Connolly did a good job of beating his man and taking down Evans. And now Michigan is in exactly where it doesn't want to be. 3rd and long here, where Wisconsin can dial up blitzes and get to the quarterback.
You would have liked to have had 1st and 10 at midfield, obviously, and now 2 plays later, 3rd and 12 at your own 22-yard line, 8:44 remaining in the game. O'Korn is in the gun. He takes the snap, drops back, looking to throw. He rolls out to the left. Still trying to find a receiver. Instead, he tucks, and he's maybe going to get back 2 yards, but is wrapped up on the play by Ryan Conley, who, along with TJ Edwards, has just been a backing batter for Wisconsin this afternoon. As kicking away, 4th down, a punt for Robbins.
On that play, we saw a lot of stunts, and it's like seen all game getting onto the third down situations. But Michigan did a good job of picking up and giving O'Korn time to roll out. But O'Korn's not going to win against a very underrated athletic.
8 minutes and ticking left in the game. Robbins to punt. Nelson. The kick is up. High, good deep punt, pushes Nelson back. He muffs the punt but collects it quickly, and he has room on the left-hand side across the 40, a stiff arm across the 45 and almost out to midfield. Great return for Nelson after he fumbled the reception on the other end of the leg punt from Robbins, and Wisconsin again with very good field position at their own 48-yard line with 7:42 to play. They're up 11. Michigan looking just out.
Yeah, things are not looking good for the Wolverines, but there is still time on the clock. Wisconsin is starting this drive with some very good field position.
Again, their turnover would be huge for the Wolverines. They've only forced one so far today. It was an interception by Devin Bush off the arm of Alex Hornibrook. And again, Will, if you go back and you look at Michigan's opportunities that they have spoiled, first half, a fumble on the extension by Brandon Peters at the 1-yard line. That could have been 7, at least 3 for Michigan. And then again, after the interception from Devin Bush, Michigan had it at the Wisconsin 30-yard line, and all they were able to get out of it was 3. So a lot of points left on the board for the Wolverines. They're down 11, but I think that can easily be made up by just a couple of plays on the afternoon.
Yeah, you also got to give credit to Wisconsin's defense. It's been making plays all game to prevent Michigan from stringing together drives. Really, the only points that Wisconsin's defense have given up long shots. Jonathan Cooper-Jones put Michigan in territory in the first half. Besides that, this defense has been lights out. And things are definitely looking very steep for Michigan with Brandon Peters, who has been having a good game with his arm so far. He's out of the game, and John O'Korn has to make some throws against this Wisconsin defense, who's one of the best in the nation.
Michigan's defense, again, needs to come up big to give its offense a chance. It'll be Wisconsin ball at their own 48-yard line. Michigan has just 2 minutes left, so really they need to stop. They need to score on the next possession, and then they need to stop Wisconsin again quickly with time ticking away.
Yeah, 7 minutes is still enough time for Michigan to come back this game. They're down 11. It's a 2-possession game. They cut that lead with a field goal and a touchdown with a 2-point conversion. So it doesn't need 2 touchdowns. They have plenty of time. But this is going to be good starting field position for the Badgers. And Michigan's defense needs to get off the field. And O'Korn has to make some throws with his arm. On that last series, he actually made a very good throw to McHugh. McHugh just straight up dropped it. And those plays can't happen. I know this is a young Michigan team, but they have to execute perfectly if they want to get back in this game.
Both teams back out on the field now. Wisconsin about to break their huddle with Alex Hornibrook, the quarterback, poised to take his team to yet another 3. They have not lost yet this season. This would be by far the biggest victory on the schedule for Wisconsin. They will close out the season in Minneapolis next week against Minnesota. 1st and 10 from the 48. Heavy set for the Badgers. 2 tight ends in. They hand off. Doesn't have much room up the middle, but he still finds some honor for 2 yards, maybe 3. They mark him down at the Michigan 49.
Yeah, so on this drive, expect Paul Chris to keep it very vanilla, conservative. You don't want to turn the ball over here in this situation. Just run the ball, eat as much clock as possible, and just be as safe as possible. I know Jonathan Taylor has 4 fumbles on the year. He had one last week, but I think that Wisconsin just stays true to the run here on this drive.
As you said, Wisconsin taking their time. 2nd and 7. Motion. Off goes to Taylor. A flag is down on the play as Taylor gets close to the 1st down marker, and it will be a 1st down pending the penalty down to the 41-yard line. Needed to get to the 42.
Yeah, the flag is going to be an offsides on Khalid Hudson. He came off the line of scrimmage a bit fast and beat the snap.
They will decline the penalty to first down from Michigan 41. 6:58 remaining now in the game. Michigan needs something desperately. Clock continues to run after the ball was placed. Whistles blow. Looks like Devin Bush is down at the 35-yard line. Wisconsin fans think he's just trying to buy time, and he is being booed as the medical staff come out to take a look at the Wolverines linebacker. Didn't really there. They came set in the defense, and then down went Devin Bush.
Yeah, Devin Bush sort of the leader of that defense on the middle linebacker position. Not a very good sign for Michigan if this is a serious injury.
The entire medical staff is around him. He's sitting up on the ground, takes his legs. Not sure what's happening here, and just a dark second half. Pretty much nothing has gone right for the Maize and Blue. Down 11 now to the Badgers with 6:40 remaining in the fourth quarter. WB Sports coverage of Michigan football.
So far, Michigan lost the quarterback and potentially their middle linebacker, although Bush is now up on his feet and walking gingerly off to the sideline.
He's being booed by some of the Wisconsin fans here. Not something you ever like to hear. 6:48. The clock should start running again after the whistles blow. And if anything, that gives Wisconsin a fresh play clock up on 40 seconds. So, say what you want about Devin Bush going down. If anything, it bought Wisconsin some more time off the clock. How quickly do you start calling timeouts if you're Jim Harbaugh?
I think, at this point you got to start considering it soon. Better to call timeouts on defense because the offense will try to run the ball and you can control the clock a bit more when you have the ball in offense.
I formation split receivers for the Badgers. And off again to Taylor. He's got tons of room, and he crosses the 35 and the 30. First down, Wisconsin. Another big pickup down to the Michigan 28.
Another big pickup, by Wisconsin. Jonathan Taylor had a lot of green in front of him. Mike Wroblewski, who came in as Bush's backup, saved the day by breaking off of his blocker and just getting his hand on Taylor enough to slow him down and allow his teammates to rally to the ball, because Jonathan Taylor, a huge running back, full head of steam, was headed to the house.
Now it's 1st and 10 from the Michigan 28. 5:40 and ticking on the clock. Again, I formation with a single receiver out to the right in the form of Kendrick Pryor. Fumagalli, the tight end, in motion. It's a handoff for the Badgers to Bradrick Shaw, who gets a yard and a half on first down. Down to the 26.
Another good tackle by Wroblewski. Definitely earning his time. 2 plays after coming in for the injured Devin Bush. But right now we're seeing how Wisconsin finishes his opponents. They're physical for 60 minutes, and they grind you out. And right now we're here late in the fourth quarter, and Wisconsin is certainly trying to impose its will on Michigan in the line of scrimmage.
Michigan could desperately use a fumble here by the Badgers. You wonder if maybe Jim Harbaugh starts to use one of his 2 timeouts here if Michigan is able to stop Wisconsin on 2nd and 8. It's a handoff to Shaw. Shaw's got room again, and he gets down to the 20-yard line, falling forward to the 19, and the Badgers will be about a yard short. Michigan will not use a timeout. 4:36 and ticking. It'll be 3rd and 1. 3rd and a long one. The Michigan defense, looks gassed right now, but they could use a big stop and force a field goal try for Rafael Gaglianone.
Yeah, Michigan's subbing in a lot of guys on the defensive line because this huge physical Wisconsin offensive line has just been grinding for 60 minutes, and it's taking its toll on Michigan.
3rd and 1. Big I formation for Wisconsin. Handoff. Pushing forward across the first down marker to the 17-yard line. It is good. It's Garrett Groshek, the 4th running back in this Wisconsin rotation, as he gets the first down. And, that pretty much seals this one, in my opinion.
Yeah, Groshek there, getting his first carry of the game, lowered the shoulder against McCray and Metellus, and his explosive physical running style was enough for him to fall forward for the first down. And I think mathematically Michigan is still in it, but I think that just sort of took the wind out of Michigan's sails.
3:30 on the clock, running down. Handoff again on first down. Wrapped up in the backfield is Wisconsin and Garrett Groshek.
Yeah, Groshek starting to see some time now in the backfield. He brings a much more physical and gritty nature to the running game, that different dimension of the game that Jonathan Taylor provides.
Michigan fans now starting to file out of the stadium as there's a timeout on the field.
And Michigan starting to use its timeouts to stop the clock, anticipating getting the ball back with at least some time to do something on offense.
Depending on how the drive ends here, it's 2nd and 10 for the Badgers. Stop on third down and then forcing a field goal try for Gaglianone. Should he convert in that situation, it would still be a 2-score game. Michigan would be down by 14, and they would conceivably get the ball back with maybe 2.5 minutes left on the clock. They would need a quick score, an onside kick recovery, and then another quick score.
Yeah, Gaglianone's field goal here would make the score 14 points, like Jeremy said. And in that case, Michigan needs 2 touchdowns, and they can't tie the game with a touchdown and field goal anymore.
Again, a big, heavy formation with Groshek in the backfield. Hands off to Groshek. He's got room up the middle, and he crosses near the 10-yard line where he's brought down. It'll be a pickup of about 7 and leave Wisconsin with 3rd and 3. Michigan again calls timeout with 3:16 remaining in the game.
Michigan just used his last timeout here, and Jim Harbaugh really needs his defense to get a stop here.
If Michigan is able to get a stop on 3rd and 3, it would force a field goal try, which would then run the play clock down to about 2.5 minutes. And then Michigan, pending the field goal, would be down either 11 still or 14. And they would get the ball back. They would have to go and make a lot happen to make anything close in this one.
The running back for Wisconsin has been getting the carries as of late, these past few plays, and he brings a lot of boom, and he's a very physical runner, and Michigan needs to be ready for that. They need to get a stop here. And assuming Michigan gets the ball back on offense, John O'Korn it's a small sample size, but he has had some reps in these situations, especially against the MSU game, where he made some pretty good throws, so there's definitely some Michigan here.
Michigan fans have begun filing out of the stadium en masse. Ball's at the 10-yard line. Wisconsin needs to get to the 7, 3rd and 3. As you said, direct snap to Groshek as he bounces back and forth, trying to cross the 10-yard line. He'll be wrapped up for a loss by Michigan. Tackle was made by Aubrey Solomon in the backfield. Loss of 2 on the play. We'll leave it at 4th and 6 as we tick to 3 minutes. And there's 31 seconds on the play clock, so if Wisconsin goes all the way down to the end, it'll be 2:29 left. We'll see if they elect to maybe just take the 5-yard delay of game penalty and push it back a little bit further and allow the clock to run out, or if they call a timeout.
Yeah, I think Wisconsin will probably they won't burn as much clock as possible. On that last play, that was a great effort by Aubrey Solomon, the true freshman, to win his battle at the line of scrimmage, keep his ground, and eat up the cutback lane that Groshek was trying to take. But looks like, yes, Wisconsin will call its timeout, take as much time off the clock as possible, at least 2:30 left in the game.
2 minutes and 30 seconds. All that separates Wisconsin from their 11th victory of the season. Will, the Badgers are 17-2 in the month of November over the last 2 years. They're 20-3 in Big Ten play since the realignment in 2014. And again, I'm going to make the argument, even though they most likely will beat the Wolverines today, the Badgers still have not played a very good team this year.
Well, yeah, I think Michigan is, again, the best team they've played so far, but it's only for a small time since Michigan's starting quarterback went down early or midway through the third quarter. So I think that Wisconsin will likely play Ohio State in the Big Ten championship or Penn State, and that will definitely be a much taller task for the Badgers.
29-yard field goal attempt for the Brazilian Rafael Gaglianoni. He converted earlier in this game. The kick is up, and it is good. Wisconsin will go up by 14, 24-10. Your score right now with 2:25 remaining in the game. WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football. It is finally the witching hour for Michigan. They need to go back, score, and then recover an onside kick and score again, and that's just to get it to overtime. With no timeouts left on the clock.
Yeah, now, like I was saying, O'Korn has actually been in this situation before. Against MSU, they needed him to convert a comeback drive in much similar conditions given the time and the score. That game was in a monsoon. It was a downpour. And he made some pretty good throws, but his receivers just couldn't hold on to it because of the rain. Right now, the skies are pretty clear. The wind is somewhat strong, but not too much. And let's see if he has it in him to convert. Need the Wolverines to come back after getting benched a few weeks earlier.
Aubrey Solomon and Brad Hawkins back to return for Michigan.
Embry Thomas, the true freshman.
Hintz is there to kick for Wisconsin as he stands on the 25. Raises the arm, gives the run up, and sends it deep. It's a low line drive kick. It'll be handled by Embry Thomas at the Michigan 2-yard line. He takes off to the left, trying to get some blockers. He's got a little bit of room around the 20. Gets a block. He's around the 30. There's a flag down. I think they're going to get Michigan on the return unit for a block in the back, but it was a nice return by Embry Thomas all the way out to the 40.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a hold on Nate Shaley, who's grabbing Nartrell Jamerson on the left side of the field. As Embry Thomas is off the clock.
That might be the call. And here we go. It is a holding. It's on Hawkins. It'll be half the distance from the spot of the foul. We'll see where that puts the Wolverines. The ball will be placed as they are marching back and back and back. Still marching backwards inside the 10-yard line. I believe they're finally going to spot it at the 9.
Watching the replay, that was a very obvious call, the right call by the officials.
Referees finally putting the ball to the ground. Now it is at the 9-yard line. Michigan needs to go 91 yards to get back within a score. 2:17 left on the clock. And now the referees blow their whistles again. Perhaps the spot of the ball was wrong. They are conferencing over top of it now. Death cannot be swift here at Camp Randall this afternoon, Will.
Yeah, no, a lot of stoppages here. I think a lot of Michigan fans are just trying to get out of here.
And the ball has now been moved back yet again. They're now going to place the ball at the 6-yard line. Now Michigan needs to go 94 yards to get within a score. Higdon's the lone tailback in the backfield. 2 receivers to the right for the Wolverines. John O'Korn now sends Sean McCune out wide to the left. O'Korn drops back, looking to throw. He's got it complete out to Grant Perry, who crosses the 10 down to the 13-yard line, maybe the 14. It's a gain of about 8.
Yeah, Michigan's got to hurry. No timeouts. Grant Perry caught the ball inbounds. The clock is still running. Michigan has to hurry up and get to the line of scrimmage.
2 minutes even now as the clock ticks down. O'Korn takes the snap, drops back. Good pressure from the Badgers, and a short throw over the middle is incomplete for Perry again. O'Korn looks shaken and confused. Michigan lost their quarterback, Brandon Peters, in the third quarter, and it has been nothing but downhill sledding ever since then.
Yeah, right now Wisconsin is going to try to do 2 things. For its front 7, they're going to try to get after the quarterback, and for the back, or excuse me, the front 4, they're not blitzing in this situation. They're trying to get after the quarterback, and the back 7 is trying to limit short throws. They can limit those short throws across the middle, and that's what they've been doing so far.
3rd and 3. O'Korn takes the snap. He's flushed out of the pocket. He's rolling to the right. He has no options, and he takes a helmet-to-helmet hit at the 14-yard line. There is no penalty flag call.
Well, that was a clean hit. O'Korn was still in bounds. He wasn't sliding. He's a running back at that point. And Connolly did a good job of lowering the boom and teaching the quarterback a lesson not to run out of the pocket.
Boy, oh boy. Now it's 4th and 2, and now if Michigan even wants to keep the game going, they need to get 2 yards.
Yeah, and O'Korn has to take a shot deep downfield. These little scrambles and these short checkdowns aren't going to do it against this defense.
Peoples-Jones out to the left, Perry in the slot, Eddie McDoom to the right. O'Korn drops back. He looks over the middle. He tries to get the 2 yards. He will not get it. He's down at the 16-yard line. He's going to be well short of the first down, and that is game here at Camp Randall in Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's gonna do it here. Michigan did a good job of picking up the pressure. O'Korn actually had time to throw. He should not have left the pocket that early, and that's one of the problems that O'Korn has had. And I think that's one of the problems he was mentioned. He did not have the same pocket presence that Brandon Peters had, and he just tucked his head too early. And you're not going to be able to run against this Wisconsin defense. All their guys have high IQs. They're disciplined. They're gritty, and they're not going to let you beat them with a quarterback run like that. And
Wisconsin
probably going to take a knee here.
Yep, we'll see how gracious Paul Christ is in victory. Wisconsin will go to 11-0, 8-0 in the Big Ten. They already have their spot locked up in Indianapolis for the championship game, trying to cruise into the top 4 of the college football playoff. Michigan will fall to 8-3, 5-3 in the conference, and their hopes of a Big Ten berth are all but dashed as Hornibrook takes a knee. He will probably need to do so 1 or 2 more times to end this game. And that's going to do it for Michigan, who now stare down the barrel of a home game against Ohio State next weekend in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, just looking towards the future, this is a very bad situation for Michigan because they started to trend upwards with Brandon Peters. And it's unfortunate because we're witnessing a very good football team between 2 great teams here in Camp Randall. But after Brandon Peters went down, that sort of took the sail out of Michigan, the wind out of Michigan's sails, and things just easily fell into Wisconsin's hand. But we got to look forward to the future. Hopefully Brandon Peters' injury is not too serious because they do face Ohio State next week in a big rivalry game in the Big House.
Another knee from Hornibrook. He'll have to do it one more time with 52 seconds remaining here in the 4th quarter. Your final score will be Wisconsin 24, Michigan 10. A story of missed opportunities for the Wolverines, and of course the head storyline coming out of this one, Michigan again losing a quarterback in Brandon Peters.
Yeah, and again, looking towards the future on the Wisconsin side, they will go to 11-0 and will probably win their last game of the season at Minnesota, and they'll go into the Big Ten championship undefeated. But again, you've mentioned this before, they haven't played anyone. Michigan was the best team they played all year, and they were missing their quarterback for much of the second half of the game. Wisconsin is a very good football team. I really like their physical style, their gritty style on defense, but they still have to prove themselves. And I think they'll get that first chance against either Ohio State or Penn State in the Big Ten championship.
Well, we're going to see how depressed we are coming out of this one as to whether or not we'll call Michigan hockey tonight at the Kohl Center at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We will tweet out from @WCBN Sports whether or not we decide to make that trip, and we will let you know. But that's going to do it from Camp Randall, a depressing and dark afternoon for us here. I'm going to go put my head in my hands, Will, and maybe go find some Chick-fil-A. I could go for something deep fried at the moment.
Yeah, it's cold weather here in Camp Randall.
Yeah, I'm going to go warm my toes up, too.
It's a great football environment, but I think all of us, everyone in the stadium wants to get warm right now.
Yep, I'm going to go eat my feelings. For Will Yang, Daniel Thompson, and Austin Falco, I'm Jeremy Parks. Your final score from Camp Randall. The Wisconsin Badgers now 11-0, 24, and the Michigan Wolverines 10. For WCBN Sports coverage, as always, we will leave you with a good night and a Go Blue.